Lower dunk.
Hello. Welcome to Lord Up, the show where we take somebody through a game or game franchise if they haven't experienced it. That was the wrong order of things for that intro, but that's okay. I am Chase, and I'm here with
Neil.
Ed.
Can you tell me about the Yakuzas?
Oh, we're back, baby. What are we covering, guys?
Yakuza 3, the best Yakuza.
I think the fan base would argue it's a hot take, but I'm not inherently disagreeing.
We are really getting a lot out of this. So we
Yeah.
spent the first episode, folks, go back and check it out. If you want, or don't do what you want with your life. We had a lot of Kiryu running his own orphanage. Well, Haruka running the orphanage, really. And Kiryu's there, to give advice.
Kiryu's the counselor.
Very, very cute stuff. Finally seeing a bit of that positive masculinity, almost.
Heck yeah.
I mean, he still has a young woman doing all the cooking and cleaning, but we're still
And
seeing...
another young woman doing the racism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on. We were not qualified then. We're not qualifying now. It was bad. And we have been called back to Kamurocho because on the same day that our new blood brother, whose name is Nakahara, was shot, we saw that our apparently not dead father, Kazuma, killed Tojo chairman Daigo. He's not dead, though. They're both in critical condition in hospital. And what the hell's going on?
Well, not the only one who's dead, because where we left off was Kashiwagi, the captain / patriarch of the Kazuma family, is now dead.
Yeah.
Gunned down by a Gatling gun of all things. For
side
arguably
of
the
a
most brutal
helicopter.
death. Yeah.
It's like a military massive one, too. It just fucking goes ham.
A couple of key characters that we also met that presumably are going to become very important, because for some of you this might be a 2-week wait. We have 3 major families in the Tojo clan right now, not including Majima. He's our 4th, but everybody knows Majima. We have the Nishikiyama family, headed up by Kanda, who is Big Shagger.
I think we should change that nickname now that we know that he's like a sex criminal.
Okay, well, I don't know. Okay, Big Slapper. And we've got Hakuho, which is captained by Mine, who I've just called Moneybanks. Seems like he's got lots of money. I do find it odd that Kanda and Mine are blood brothers. They seem like 2 people that just would not get on. But we'll come back to that. Finally, we've got Hamazaki, who I've just written Chef Killer.
Chef Killer.
It's kind of all we know about them, but they seem like to be our 3 big bads right now.
I like the thought that this is not like a killer of chefs, it's a chef / killer. Yeah. Like he kills somebody, then he gets into the kitchen, and, he makes a mean...
And hey,
awful-
if you don't fancy continuing to have to wait 2 weeks between these episodes, there's a great solution. The Monty Zander Patreon.
Yes.
Where you get them sooner.
Yes.
And also Monty's critiques.
Yes.
Also that.
And my Nubis Humanus videos. Anyway, so we've got Kazuma.
We also have one more family. Who's the last family?
Who's the last
The
family?
Nishikiyama.
No, not in Tokyo.
Oh.
In Okinawa.
In Okinawa.
Oh, we've
had-
got the Tamashiro family.
Not the one I was on about.
The Ryudo family.
Thank you. Tomashiros don't matter. They're there.
Oh, okay, they're just like fodder, are they?
fodder.
Cool. Okay, the Ryudo family is like our friends.
Yeah, they're the besties.
We really like the Ryudo family. We've got Rikia, we've got Mikio, and we've got Nakahara, who's now currently in hospital.
Yeah.
Presumably we'll get back to Okinawa later. I think we're going to be focusing Kamurocho for a while.
And our kids.
And our kids. Our many,
our
many
kids.
kids. We also have, last couple of names, which seem to be important. The land in Okinawa, where the orphanage is going to be bought up. And currently there's 2 people vying to buy that land. We've got Suzuki, who wants to turn it into a resort. And we've got Tamiya, who wants to turn it into a military base. Mm-hmm. We also have a blonde man with sunglasses walking around that we think is Albert Wesker.
Seems to be working with the Kazuma character. Is it Kazuma? Presumably.
But yeah, and that's where we're at. So, Kashiwagi dead. Kiryu has probably got a hit out on him by the other rest of the dojo. What happens next?
So, Kiryu runs out of the Millennium Tower just having left the shot-up office of Kashiwagi, and he blends in with the evacuating crowd, none of whom seem to notice the massive bloodstains on his white jacket. But luckily, police are specially trained to be able to notice subtle things like massive splotches of blood. So Kiryu instantly needs to make a break for it when they're like, the fuck is that? He sprints through the crowd, doing a little roll over the hood of a cop car.
If only he had a jacket he could take off.
Yeah, I know. And a red shirt.
And a red shirt underneath.
He runs through the streets of Kamurocho, ultimately taking refuge in the Champion District. Looking good, comes a voice from an alley.
I know that voice.
Kiryu freezes, looking for the source of an alley as out walks the only good cop! It's Date!
Your disappointment at seeing Date again,
Our
Neil.
best father!
Bad dad.
The worst dad in the show.
Well, second best dad now that Kiryu's about, but, we love Date.
Terrible father.
Good, great.
Passable cop, although usually it's just Kiryu doing all the work.
Yeah.
He laughs. Should have known it was the Kazuma Kiryu special. He tells Kiryu that they need to talk, and that he'll bring him to a bar that he frequents for a little drink. They sneak through the streets, arriving at a building. Kiryu's shocked, Date laughing that he should wait till he sees the inside. They head in, up an elevator that Kiryu's used so many times before, and entering the door of the bar Serena.
Oh, good to be back here.
Yeah. Which is back in business now. Remember we did come here in Yakuza 2, but it was run down, dusty, the tables were covered with cloths and stuff.
We used it as like a safe house.
Yeah, because remember that back in Yakuza 1, Reina, who was the mama, she died.
Because Yakuza 1 was a bloodbath.
Yeah, she did. But it's back in business now. So it's been bought by a new mama and reopened under the name New Serena.
Oh.
Date laughs about how she spruced up the place from back in the day.
Has she? Looks identical.
It does.
Didn't even fucking change the name.
I think there's different chandeliers, maybe.
Oh, nailed it.
Brilliant.
Some new...
Kiryu's wearing the same suit he wore last time he was here.
Date's
Date's wearing the same
outfit.
jacket.
If you walked in here right now, you'd be like, what year is this? It's quite sweet, actually. I appreciate that as a time capsule. It's fun. Yeah.
The mama clearly knows Date well, asking if he wants as usual, and him ordering 2 for himself and Kiryu. Kiryu comments on how the mama's surprisingly young. She looks like she's mid-20s. She's surprisingly young to be owning a bar, with Date shooting back that she's got the guts of a much older woman.
God, I hope no, for the sake of her health.
The mama comes over with the drinks and who you calling old? Date asks the mama if they can have some time alone, and they catch up. Date telling Kiryu that there's no chance that he'll be found here. In the place where Date has said that many a time before, and they have always been found. Every single time. Kiryu asks how Date knew who he was, with him saying that Kazuki filled him in, that Kiryu was back in town, and knowing Kiryu, it was only a matter of time until he was the center of another fucking mess. Suddenly, the door bursts open, and a young page boy-ass looking guy walks in holding a file, one that Date has seemingly been expecting. The mama clearly was as well, as she's already poured a drink for the guy, although getting a comment of, "This stuff's pure alcohol! You're trying to poison me, mama?" Water that down a bit. He slides the folder over to Date, moaning about how Date ain't his boss. Look at me, taking orders from the new guy, and I'm a senior frickin' editor! He hands the photos to Kiryu. They're of the 5 current Tojo clan officers. Kiryu asking what he's getting at. Date laughing and passing him his new business card. Date is now a newspaper editor.
But he just got
He's a reporter now.
But he got promoted to First Division.
That was 2 years ago. He left the force. Well, no, keep in mind that 2 years ago he wasn't a police.
Right.
He had already left the force by that point.
Okay, yeah. Good.
So these days he's working as a reporter.
Fair enough. I'd much prefer him as a reporter. So
Yeah, me too.
Much more interesting.
How did he get such a close-up picture of Majima? That is definitely a selfie that Majima sent him.
No, that's definitely... Because he already personally knew Majima, was like, "Can I get a photo?" And Majima's like, "Get my good side.
So Kiryu
Make me look good."
Yeah, just to context, folks, all the others look like sort of long lens photos that you might take during an investigation, except for Majima, where it's sort of right under his face.
It's bright contrast, well-colored, looks edited.
So Kiryu naturally pulls out a big red biro, just draws a bit X through Kashiwagi, right?
Little red dots on him.
Seems that Date's been writing up a story about the link between Tojo and Suzuki's Okinawa resort.
Ooh,
So the truth is starting to leak.
that's the good stuff.
He goes through the officers, filling Kiryu in on what he's missed. We know basically everything about good old Canada there, including how it was probably him who killed Kashiwagi. But Mine, we learn, is essentially a white-collar Yakuza. Spitting image of a young businessman who built his fortune through insider trading and real estate. And these days, he's essentially the financial backbone of the Tojo. Most of his money, though, seems to go to Kanda. Seemingly because Kanda was the one who brought Mine into the Yakuza.
Oh.
So that's why...
He's sort of tied to him.
that's why
They're
they're
old friends.
So he brought them in a few years back. But make no mistake, Mine is loyal only to the 6th chairman, not Kanda. His own muscle has grown great enough that he doesn't need Kanda's backing anymore.
Interesting.
So Mine is loyal to Daigo.
Loyal to Daigo.
Right.
So basically, Kanda brought him in, but Kanda ain't his boss. Next, we learn a bit more about Mr. Cleaver Hamazaki, an amateur porn star wannabe known as the Emperor of Hama. And by Hama, he's meaning Yokohama, which he's claimed basically entirely as his own territory by shoving the remnants of the Snake Flower Triad out following their fall at Kiryu's hands 4 years ago.
Yes.
Weirdly, though, he's actually still fairly buddy-buddy with the Chinese mafia despite shoving them out. Another weird thing,
That's weird.
he only has 10 men under him. You'd think you'd need 500, 1,000 men, or at least one Kiryu, in order to take down the Snake Flower. But he waltzed in and seemingly did it without so much as lifting a finger. If Date had to guess, it's because he's doing the mafia's dirty work. Smuggling, laundering. He's not positive, but he bets that Hamazaki was first in line towards drafting the blueprints for the Tojo's Okinawa deal.
So he has sway without muscle because he's willing to do all the
It seems
stuff.
he's making some deals with the Chinese. So one of these guys is a traitor. But who?
Majima.
Kiryu tells Date about how the traitor is also in league with Daigo's shooter. And Date sat there like, you know who did it? Kiryu pulls out the now blood-splattered drawing of Kazuma from his breast pocket, handing it to Date, who unfolds it, just giving is this some sort of sick joke? Kazuma-san's gone! How is this possible? Kiryu swirls his drink, thinking of everything that's happened. Just who or what are they dealing with here? Date says that he'll look into the Kazuma and tells Kiryu to start looking into Kanda. Kiryu leaves and gets a call. Fuck, it's Rikia and he's pissed. Also, he's in Kamurocho. Because, he's a fucking grown-ass adult, and just because Kiryu left him doesn't mean that he's not able to get his own flight.
Did Haruka also buy his ticket?
Well, Uncle Kaz did tell me to take care of you, so...
This was for groceries for next week, but I guess...
No, it's more, just get out of here.
God, you won't stop hanging around here.
I think it's pretty clear that she's going to be a mama when she grows up. She's going to be running a bar dealing with all these men, these useless men.
Anyway, he's in Kamurocho, but he has no fucking clue where he is. He's gone to Kamurocho and immediately goes...
There's about 3 streets. I know my way around Kamurocho, and I've played about 5 hours of that game.
He ain't used to the big city. So Kiryu needs to go find him. Enter this fucking search sequence. We basically call him, we're like, find a landmark, tell me where it is, wait.
And he goes, a big arch, and you go, perfect.
Well, the first one he goes is he's like, I'm near the biggest tower I've ever seen, on a street with a lot of shops. So we're like, he's like, Millennium Tower, you're on Nakamichi Street. So we go over there and he's nowhere to be found. We get another text, and he's like, I'm at a convenience store. So we check every convenience store.
It's not a landmark,
There's
sir.
like 7 of them.
Yep, so we have to check everyone until ultimately we end up in the M Mart on Shichifuku, where we get another call from Rikia!
Oh, you can always rely on Yakuza to just Yakuza all over itself, can't you? Yeah.
Oh, he's helping a lady in a park who's being accosted by some thugs. We finally head over to the children's park up in northwest Kamurocho, where we finally find Rikia now sporting a nice little suit jacket over his...
That looks so weird.
I don't know. I really like Hawaiian shirts under suit jackets. I think it adds some...
I actually agree with you. I think it's a great look.
I think that it's spunky.
He looks like he stepped out of 2.5 Men. Looks like Charlie Sheen on a date. I don't... Yeah. Like, is this a bit? Like, yeah.
No, this is him clearly trying to, clean himself up a bit for the big city. He's in a standoff with a group of Yakuza, with a woman cowering behind him while the men shout to hand her over. Kiryu walks up, getting between them. They pomp and preen, showing off their Nishikiyama family pins, trying to scare off Kiryu. But obviously, he's not. And he thanks Rikia for finding exactly who he needed. Together with Rikia, they show him a bit of the old Okinawan razzle-dazzle. And the boys get sufficiently dazzled, freaking out. Telling Kiryu that Kanda had sent them to find the biggest girl they could find, And so I have a note here that they're clearly bad at their job because this woman is minuscule.
Yeah.
So what? I think they make a comment on that, like, she ain't big. What you on about?
So, like, just to, not to bring us down, but just very quickly to clarify for my own purposes, Kanda is having just women lifted off the streets to be brought to him. Jesus Christ.
It does. I feel a little bit personally, and I felt this a little bit in two, but I just didn't talk about it. I feel a little bit personally offended on Nishiki's behalf that this is what his family has been reduced to. Like, they're just the fodder of every game. And it's not a criticism of the game. I think it's an interesting direction. I feel like personally insulted.
I think it's they wanted to keep the name alive to just keep coming back, but
Like, the spectre of him is always haunting Kiryu.
yeah. It's like they never gave him to the big threat.
Yeah, it's always some useless thugs that can't do their job right.
Shindo was, decently threatening at least. The men, sufficiently razzle-dazzled, they freak out, telling Kiryu that Kanda had sent them to find the biggest girl they could find. They tell him that Kanda needs her for his hobby. You think sexual assault's a hobby? From Rikia.
Nice. Okay.
They freak out, telling them that Kanda actually has a weird fetish. He has them drag girls back to the office so he can massage them.
Oh, God.
Weirdly, nothing more than that.
Yeah, that is still a sex crime.
Oh, yes, no, it is. Nothing more than that. He just likes massaging a nice, thick woman. The bigger, the better.
So that explains the groaning earlier. It
Just
wasn't
like
sex. It was,
hat.
it was the massage.
Kiryu's like, the fuck does Kanda get out of that? And they're like, I don't know, aroused? I get kind of sick if I dwell on it too much, but I bet he loves hearing a moan while he does it. Our only job is to find women big enough to handle his huge, meaty hands. Kiryu decides to believe them, thinking that no one would be able to make up such a wild fucking story, and says that he'll let them go under the condition that they tell him where Kanda is. We're told that he's in the Red Brick Hotel over in the hotel district, room 403, and that he's in a real good mood. That's why he went out today, getting a hotel, instead of bringing him to the office like normal. The men run off, and the woman thanks them. Although, not without a weird comment about how her shoulders have been kind of sore lately. Maybe I should have gone with them, hee hee.
Oh, game. God damn it.
But yeah, so she asks for Riki's contact info, saying that she wants to pay him back later, but Riki is way too much of a gentleman for that, so kind of is like, please, be safe, get home, and then falls off after Kiryu like a little puppy.
Good lad.
Love him.
Yeah, we love Rikia. Kiryu provides Rikia with absolutely zero context for what's happening as he runs off to the Red Brick Hotel. But Rikia is such a wholesome little puppy that he doesn't even ask what Kanda did until he's literally about to bust down the door. They head in, but oopsies, they're stopped by the woman at the front desk. Turns out, this ain't no normal hotel, it's a love hotel, which also means love hotels are very big on their anonymity, so when you get the woman at the front desk, you don't see her, it's like the only thing you can see is her hands, because it's like just a flat wall in a little tiny box where you basically hand her the money and she hands you your room key. Huh. Most love hotels don't even have a front desk person, it's all done on like a little kiosk, anonymity. Yeah, so she sees him come in and she's like, this ain't no normal hotel, it's for couples only. And you boys look shady as hell. How am I meant to know that you guys aren't going to do some crimes up in my rooms? But Rikia is fucking ready for it. He runs over to Kiryu, grabbing onto his arm. Oh, cutesy, like, well, ain't a duo in this town cuter than me and my Anarchy here. We usually keep it under wraps, but I just can't keep my hands off him. Rikia starts, like, rubbing Kiryu's chest and winks at the desk woman, who at this point is, like, hunched over, like, shoving her face out of, like, the little hole in the wall, just, like, trying to oogle these two men.
I ship it.
You know what? A, Rikia had that ready to go.
Yeah.
Oh, she was so...
Yeah, B... I like that they're playing on the, like, perceived toughness of the Yakuza to get in here. There's no way that two, like, tough Yakuza would do this.
By love, you know Riki's been waiting to do this since the day he met Kiryu. But she's like, oh, well, in that case, and she, like, hands him a key, and she's, like, waving, and then, like, enjoy! They walk into the elevator. Rikia never lets go of Kiryu's arm. This entire time, they get into the elevator, he, like, leans his head on his shoulder, and he, like, nuzzles into Kiryu's shoulder, and he's like, fucking quit it, and he shoves him off. And he, like, quickly, like, gets, like, business serious, like...
He doesn't pull him off, though.
He does not pull him off. No. Saved for Majima. So they head up, knocking on the door of room 403. Where they gonna, what took you so long, sweetheart? From Kanda as he opens the door. Kiryu just immediately, like, the door opens, he just barges right in, you know, not giving a second for him to close it. Kanda is absolutely shook, caught with his pants down as he desperately tries to come across cordial, being like, fourth chairman! Funny seeing you here. What brings you to these parts? As, before he just fucking bolts out the room, screaming down the halls about how a Yakuza's here to skin me! Ah! Whilst he's, you know, running around with his massive Yakuza tattoos.
Oh, God. He's just a nothing villain. He's just a prick.
Yes. You end up having to, this is like a 3-floor hotel. You end up having to chase him through. He'll, like, run away, and then you need to, like, run through the floors, busting down doors, usually on unsuspecting couple mid-lovemaking. Or, like, coming out of the shower in a towel or half naked. You, like, bust in, and every once in a while, you'll get a door that's Kanda, and he runs back out.
It's like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and he'll, like, run. I literally have that in the script. And it's, like, 3 floors, so you might need to, like, run up and down floors, and all the while, his, like, men are, like, blocking the hallways. You need to beat his men.
Oh, so this is like it's a dungeon.
It's a dungeon, yeah.
Wow, okay.
But eventually you end up chasing him up to the top floor to the executive room. Kiryu walks into the luxurious room, seeing nobody in there. And it's like massive marble pillars, but as he searches it, he turns his back on a luxurious illuminated swimming pool-sized bath as a head comes from the water.
Horrific. It's like an egg floating, a boiled egg floating up to the top of the pot.
Like a turtle.
Oh my goodness.
And straight up, he starts approaching as ominous, almost Jaws-like music starts playing as he approaches Kiryu until he leaps from the water into the sky, pouncing like a cat down onto Kiryu's back. What's the fourth chairman doing crashing my shindig? I went all floppy because of you, asshole!
Oh, God.
They, of course, brawl. Kiryu grabbing every fucking heavy object in the room that he can find to massage into Kanda's big, old, meaty body. No. Kanda is a fucking nutcase. He's literally, like, he jumps on the wall. There's, like, massive, like, some statues, like, built into the walls. He'll, like, jump on the walls, grab and, like, rip them out of the walls. They're, like, 10 times the size of him, and he's, like, walking around trying to slam them down on Kiryu's head. But as his strength wanes, Kanda, he kind of staggers, falling over onto a countertop, assuming the position.
Yeah.
Kiryu approaches from behind, as you button mash circle to repeatedly thrust into Kanda's ass as he continues to moan, and the screen starts to go a pink hue with some hearts.
What the fuck?
Why?
Kiryu's fucking Kanda.
What? But what is Kiryu actually trying to do in this situation? Pull him away from the table?
Pull him away from the table, but via repeated thrusts into his ass.
Just surely the thrusting would just get in the way of the pull. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
The moans and the wails crescendo until in a peak moment of climax, Kiryu arches back hard, throwing Kanda into the air in a massive suplex, sending him soaring all the way onto the bed that was behind them.
For anyone listening along who's also a wrestling fan, that would be a German suplex.
Does a German suplex not require them to then slam them into the floor?
Well, does he not do that? He grabs him from behind and throws him over his own, like...
Well, he throws him, but then he just goes flying.
Yeah, it could still count, yeah.
Fair enough. He lands on the massive circular bed, which is, you know, all nice and plush, and it's got, you know, velvet, you know, surrounding it.
Kanda is having a great time. You know it. You just know it.
This is the highlight of his week.
Kiryu walks over, joining Kanda in the bed, and assuming position 54. The cage of pleasure as he Do you want to describe this?
Yeah, so again, for any wrestling fans, this is Bryan Danielson doing cattle mutilation. Is I think the name of the move.
What if you're not a wrestling fan?
Which is essentially Kiryu's on his back. It is hard to describe. And he's basically, Kanda's also on his back in the air, being held up, his legs trapped, pinned back by Kiryu's up in the air, and his arms held back by Kiryu's arms. So he's kind of, it is hard to explain. They would look like a circle from the side with Kiryu.
It is impressive as hell.
Yeah, because you then repeatedly mash square to continuously pulse this position, stretching Kanda out, as this bed seemingly activates and starts spinning. It's a spinning bed.
I love these games.
So they're like a fucking rotisserie on here as he's like,
How the fuck am I supposed to compete with this with Spider-Man tomorrow?
Spider-Man.
You swing a bit, you get another phone call. Spoilers, that's the whole thing.
ultimately he throws Kanda onto the ground, stepping on his head, grinding the heel of his alligator skin shoe deep, telling him to fess up about murdering Kashi. Oh shit, yeah, that's why we're here. Okay, fun time's over. Kanda swears that we've got it wrong, saying that it was Hamazaki who killed Kashiwagi.
Chef killer.
Seems that he's got a whole Chinese army holed up in Yokohama, and he's just waiting for the watchdog to be gone to take over to begin his takeover of Kamurocho.
Okay.
Suddenly, Rikia runs in, distracting Kiryu as Kanda tries to pull a knife and stab Kiryu from behind. But obviously, Kiryu ain't about that. Roundhouse kick and the knife out of his hand, and then with the second kick, just booting Kanda in the face, knocking him unconscious.
Nice.
Rikia makes a comment about how Tokyo is a scary place. And Kiryu tries to send him back to Okinawa, but he's like, nah, fucking, I need my revenge. You ain't sending me back. And he just bows to Kiryu and begs to stay. Kiryu relents, but only under one condition. If they find the man in the sketch, Ricky is not allowed to go after him alone. He needs to bring Kiryu in.
Oh dear, well we know how that's gonna go.
Oh dear.
So Rikia agrees, and Kiryu says that they should go get a drink. He'll show him the town, show him that it's not as scary as he thinks. So despite all the Yakuza chasing them, it's time for some tourism.
Do we not now know to go and speak to Hamazaki?
Yeah, but tourism. Because Ricky is scared.
I've given up.
We're in Kamurocho now again, so
yeah.
the pacing will dip. Right, so, Chase, go ahead.
Here we go.
So they leave the Red Brick with Rikia deciding that he's craving some yakiniku. And there's a place that he's always seen on the TV. So they head over to Kanrai, with Kiryu saying that it's his treat. Which of course means that Rikia orders the entire damn menu.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
yum yum yum.
While they're eating, Rikia gets to talking about his unfinished Viper tattoo, saying how there's all sorts of people in Kamurocho. Maybe he can find an artist here, one that might not know the spirit of Okinawa, but who's been able to understand the spirit of people from all the people that he's met in the big city. Kiryu promises that he'll introduce him to somebody later.
Yeah, Kiryu's got a tattoo guy.
Yeah. They leave.
Something tells me that tattoo's never getting finished.
Really, I was just thinking there, like, I'll be big gutted if it doesn't, unless Rikia does die, but...
That's what I meant, yeah.
They leave, Kiryu paying the 65,000 yen bill, which is roughly about $650.
My god.
And they head over to the studio of Kiryu's own tattoo artist, Utabori.
Yeah.
Sadly, though, even with the professional requests from Kiryu, Utabori won't do it.
Oh,
Personal policy not to work on the art of another artist.
fair enough.
Because remember, to him, a tattoo changes a person's life. Both the person doing the tattoo and the person receiving it must be prepared for the responsibility that comes with that. Ricky is raging. He just gets real disrespectful, calling Utabori a coward.
Ooh.
Saying that he's, turning it down without even looking at it. He rips his jacket off, showing Utabori his Viper. And Utabori's Utabori's clearly impressed at the artistry of it, but he still won't. He's able to tell that the tattoo artist was beyond fond for Rikia and Okinawa, but he personally won't do it. He doesn't know Rikia, his ambitions, his reasons that he bears that tattoo. And while he doesn't know those, he can't bring himself to work on it. Rikia continues his rude tirade until Utabori eventually just kicks him out.
Yeah, fair
Kiryu profusely apologizing for Rikia's behavior. Leaving Utabori's studio, and following Kiryu giving Ricky a massive telling off for his disrespect, They head off. Nearby, they end up rescuing a couple from a bunch of Yakuza, but as they go to leave, the Yakuza's leader, Moroto, runs over. He's shocked Ricky doesn't know him, ripping off his jacket to show his love tattoo.
Oh, no.
It's cringe. Kiryu and Ricky are completely unimpressed, with Ricky almost looking embarrassed for him. They leave, but Moroto runs after them, saying how, who gave them permission to run off? Ricky turns over his shoulder with the most cringe expression at this guy, telling Moroto to can it. Not doing yourself any favors, kid. And Moroto's like, kid? You're younger than me, jackass. Ricky glares at him, just scaring him off. And turning to Kiryu, is the city always like this? Kiryu's like, yeah, you get used to it. Suddenly, a voice comes from the alley behind them. It's Udabori. He goes up to Ricky, asking why he didn't show the man his tattoo when he showed him his. Ricky responds that the guy was just a thug. He wouldn't appreciate it, doesn't deserve the honor. Besides, it's not some type of tool to threaten people with. It's the spirit of Okinawa engraved on his back. Udabori follows to ask him why didn't he hit him, with Ricky responding that what would have been the point? The guy wasn't worth his effort. Udabori chuckles, saying that Ricky is a fascinating one, and walking back towards the studio. Come, boy. I'll finish that viper on your back.
Yay! Oh, good. Okay.
Ricky is surprised, asking why. Because I've come to understand your character. Do you need further reason?
That's all you do with this one guy, so...
And I'll have you know I gave the tattoo to Mr. Love over there. It's some of my best work.
They return to Udabori's studio, with Ricky laying down on the mat. Tattoos alter your fate. I pray this isn't too much a burden. Ricky goes, I've got the viper on my back, the soul of Okinawa. No matter what comes my way, I'll strike at it. Fangs out. After a time, Udabori puts his needle down, declaring it finished. Ricky sits up, his viper at last finished. You and me both. Anarchy, Udabori Inc. Makes us practically brothers now, doesn't it? Kiryu smiles, chuckling to himself. I guess so. They continue their tour of Kamurocho, taking Ricky where he wants to go. The 24-hour Don Quixote, a coin locker, the roof of the Millennium Tower, which I think, if I remember right, this was the first game that has coin lockers.
Right, explain.
They're just, you find keys around town, you go open coin lockers, there's stuff in them. But there's a whole quest about it way back in Okinawa, where somebody's like, you do that, and Kiryu's like, that seems highly illegal, but let's do it.
This just seems like a date. He's taking him to all his favorite date spots.
Yeah. Night out in the town.
Well, it's everywhere that Ricky has seen on TV.
Aww.
About the big city, and he's all excited because he's a fucking tourist.
Come to Kamurocho, we've got coin lockers.
A little bit of a tattoo.
He does try to go to the roof of the Millennium Tower, which he thinks is the tallest building in the world. But they're not able to do that because of the cops.
Oh.
They don't have fucking internet in Okinawa, you know? Or is he just a moron?
Yeah, he's just not on his PC much.
Yeah, I think it's just that. He's not, constantly Googling. Keep in mind, it's 2007. It's early internet days.
Yeah, I guess.
But
I feel like maybe it's just when, because I was a little boy at the time, I would have known exactly what the tallest buildings in the world were. That was the prime age for me to know when the tallest buildings in the world were,
I've got no comment on that.
Wasn't interesting enough.
At last,
it was all worms and tall buildings.
And mud.
Mud.
Boy. At last, Ricky asks if they can go somewhere quiet. He's been so focused on himself, he hadn't stopped to think about how Kiryu was feeling after everything that happened.
Aww.
He didn't know Kashiwagi, but if he was important to Kiryu, then he's important to him. He bought some beers at the Don Quixote. Why don't they go somewhere quiet, crack them open, and have a little tribute?
Aww.
They head to Public Park 3, sitting on the swings and talking. Ricky listens as he lets Kiryu talk for hours about Kashiwagi's life, the kind of person he was. They finish their drinks, and Ricky instantly ruins the mood, asking to go to a bikini bar, because that talk made him all sad.
Oh.
He's like, okay, I listened to you talk for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Let's go see some strippers.
See some ass.
Guy has the tact of...
Oh.
I don't know.
Kiryu.
It's because he's like his early 20s. He just doesn't know.
This was what Kiryu was like.
Yeah, we all remember payphone sex. Yeah.
Kiryu immediately is obviously like, no, go alone. Yeah. Not in the mood. And Ricky's like, oh shit, I was trying to cheer you up, but fuck. Anyway, before he sends Ricky off, though, he does give him a heartfelt thank you for thinking about him. And then tells him, meet me at New Serena later. And Ricky is like, I've gotten the lay of the land. I'm a big city boy myself now. I can find it. On his way back to New Serena, Kiryu hears some shouting down an alley, and he goes to investigate. He sees two men, one shouting at the other, who he calls Ibuki, saying that if he ever pokes his nose where it doesn't belong, it'll be the last thing he does. Kiryu goes to make sure that Ibuki's okay, but is surprised that Ibuki seems to actually know who he is. Seems that Ibuki used to be a member of the Dojima family, just like Kiryu. Although, at the time that Kiryu was in the family, he was very bottom rung. Kiryu offers to take him home and is led over to Komuro Castle, an abandoned restaurant that Ibuki used to run for the Yakuza. It's styled kind of like an old Western prison. Like, these are all just prison rooms.
Yeah.
It's got a bunch of, like, handcuffs hanging on the, welcome desk.
There's a prison-themed bar in London, I'm sure, where you sort of have to put on a jumpsuit and you sit in a cell and get served cocktails.
Oh, my God.
We're a very odd species.
It's true. These days, though, it serves as the headquarters for the Honest Living Association, an organization that helps former Yakuza members get out of the business and start making an honest living. They help them find work, give them low-interest rate loans, things like that. Back in the starting days, they used to use Ibuki's house, but a lot of members also needed a place to stay, so they converted his old restaurant into a dormitory and a headquarters.
So they're sleeping in prison cells.
Well, funnily enough, living in what looks like a prison helps the members to stay on the straight and narrow.
That's very, very, very
I really
fun.
like that. Yeah, that's really fun.
Kiryu asks who it was that founded the HLA. He's never even heard of it, but it was Kashiwagi who founded it.
Oh, Kashiwagi.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, is this going to be we learned that Kashiwagi rocked after his death game?
Yeah.
Kashiwagi was so well respected within the Yakuza that even after leaving, a lot of his former family members came to ask him for help.
This is awesome.
Knowing that he would come to help them.
And it's quite a thing for the most senior Yakuza in the family to do, because being out of the Yakuza in general is frowned on. It's not a good thing if you are kicked out or leave the Yakuza. You almost can't leave. But to be kicked out is such a shameful thing, and yet he's doing this.
Yeah. All his former men would tell him how leaving the business itself was fine, but making a normal life for themselves afterwards was next to impossible. But with how turbulent the Tojo's been recently, Kashiwagi had to step back and turned management of the HLA over to Ibuki. But Ibuki has an issue. The man from before seems that he was a former HLA member himself, but has now been hired by somebody to hurt the members of the HLA. And it's not just him. More and more Yakuza are doing it too. They all call themselves Reapers. Oh, no. And all of them used to be professional hitmen. Kiryu, of course, also being the sympathetic type, knows that no one trying to reform themselves would be able to deal with this. They're not going to go beat up all these Reapers because they want to live the straight and narrow. So he's like, I'll deal with it. Let me handle this.
The Reapers are the black-suited people we saw earlier, I think. Besides,
Kiryu's done exactly what they're trying to do. He knows how hard it is to leave the business, and he'll do anything to help out one of Kashiwagi's dying wishes. Anyway, TLDR, it's a side content thing.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
It's a side content thing. So this, basically, you come back to Ibuki, and he's like, here's a Reaper. It's basically Hitman missions.
Oh.
He's like, here's a guy, mini-boss, go deal with him.
Cool. So I'm definitely wrong about this. The black-suited people being Reapers.
So you do kind of meet a bunch of them. We ultimately end up getting to the end of the Reapers and learning that it's Kazuto Arase who ended up founding the Reapers. If you don't remember who that is, he was back from Yakuza 1, and he was originally the sergeant for the Nishiyama family. He was the gun-crazy one who killed Reina and Shinji.
So he's leading the Reapers?
He's leading the Reapers basically to try and find Kiryu and kill Kiryu.
So this is all just to see. I thought it would be about keeping ex-members silent, but it's just to wow.
It's very TLDR.
Infinitely less badass.
It's a very TLDR. I think that we do ultimately learn a lot more than that, and I'm skimming a lot, but
that's fine.
Yeah.
But so Kiryu confronts him, beats him up. End of quest, is it?
Saves all the people trying to live the straight and narrow.
Cute.
It's great.
Chase, how do you not find time for more detail than that in what's already going to be an 8-hour episode?
I know. I'm sorry. Anyway, Kiryu heads back to New Serena to meet with Date, asking the mama if his friend Riki can also stay there. Although I don't think actually, I think he just says, "Can my friend stay here?" And Date and the mama are like, "Ooh, are you bringing a lady friend?"
Oh, you have no idea.
It's weird. Like it's a very out of nowhere. like even Dante's getting in on it. It's like Date.
Date, have you been drinking here all day? It's showing.
Dante's on like his 9th whiskey.
Ooh, lady friend, I've not been with a lady in a long time.
Are you supposed to be tracking down Kazuma?
My daughter is not returning my calls. In a while, actually.
After a short while, Rikia shows up, introductions exchanged. She's like, "You can stay in the back room, just don't trouble the customers," and whatever.
No trouble from you. No, I can tell.
I have a comment here that for whatever reason, Dante's responses are really short and salty. He's a grumpy old man. That never goes anywhere. He's just weirdly short with Rikia. Unsure. I wrote that down thinking that it was gonna come to something later. Like he's like, "I don't like Rikia." It never goes to anything.
It's just pissed, as we've established.
Apparently so, drunk. So anyway, Ricky gets back, and he tells Kiryu that he's real bummed because he didn't manage to find any strip clubs.
Really?
He couldn't find any strippers.
In Kamurocho?
I know. Apparently he got lost or something. I don't know.
Again, it's 3 streets.
So Kiryu's like, "Oh, fine," and Kiryu takes him out to a pole show. You sit there for about 30 seconds in-game cutscene, no dialogue, just watching a pole dancer. It's great. Love it. 10 out of 10. Should be
Would good again.
Nah, should be me. On the pole, that is.
I thought you were going to say just out on a date with Kiryu.
While there, Rikia actually ends up recognizing one of the dancers. And he goes outside and he goes up to her and he's like, "This is my childhood friend from Okinawa. It's Natsume Uesato." And she tries to be like, No, you're mistaken. Natsume is just my stage name. I don't know who you are. Sorry. And he keeps trying to push. He's like, "No, I know you. You were my best friend growing up." And she tries to get away, and as she does, she ends up dropping a pendant, a small hibiscus flower pendant, which immediately sets Ricky off because he reaches into his pocket, pulling out his wallet, and from his wallet he pulls a matching hibiscus necklace. And he's like, "No, you are. Why are you
This
lying?"
is Kingdom Hearts rules. We've got matching flowers.
Yeah, no, he's like, "Why are you lying? We got these for each other when we were children. She got me this for my birthday." And this is when she's like, I'm not Natsume, I'm Natsume's sister, actually. And she gave me this pen. I'm sorry, I'm related to who you're looking for, but I'm not her. Sorry. But Rikia he's not really able to fully let it down. He ends up kind of exchanging contact details, and he's like, "Well, if you need anything, let me know." And as she heads around town, she keeps getting accosted by thugs, Yakuza's, punks, and every time Ricky is right there to step in and be like, "I'll be your, guardian angel. I'll be your knight in shining armor. I might not know you, but I'm going to do this for you." Until eventually there's a scene where he's just getting the shit beaten out of him in the street as he's trying to defend her, and she just can't stand the sight of it anymore. As Kiryu kind of, deals with them, gets them off, and she finally breaks down, admitting that she is Natsume, with him putting his hand on her head, saying how he knew, he always knew, he recognized her anywhere. She clings on to him, apologizing for taking advantage of him, and begging for his forgiveness. He tells her that she doesn't belong in Tokyo with these thugs, to come back to Okinawa and be with him. He'll take care of everything here. And with tears in her eyes and a smile on her face, she agrees.
Kind of wish she told him an hour ago then, before he got his head kicked in.
I think there is reason why she didn't, but
I'm just so ashamed.
But it was basically meant to be that Ricky, even if she was trying to push him away, he's like, "I'm staying there for my childhood friend." And Kiryu's later like, "How'd you know she was lying?" And he points out that when he handed the pendant back to her, he noticed a small scar on her hand, and recognized it as one that she got when they were both children. They were both out swimming in the reefs, and she got her hand on some coral, and it never healed, and he never stopped thinking about it.
Cute.
Anyway, we head back to New Serena, and we tell Date that it's time to fill him in. Chapter 7. The Mad Dog.
Finally, I was wondering where Majima was.
Screen fades in to Hamazaki on the phone in a noticeably Chinese-looking building, getting the scoop on Konda's defeat. He hangs up, telling telling that to the person who he sat across with, saying that the Nishikiyama family is up in flames. Guess the Dragon of Dojuma's still got some bite. So at this point, we're kind of meant to take it that the Nishikiyama family's gone. Like, Kiryu went through this hotel, the entire family was there, and Kiryu just destroyed the family.
Jesus.
Drawing a little cross through the Nishikiyama family, okay. 2 down, 2 to go.
He tells that, which, again, I, with your same thing, it feels like they kind of dragged the Nishikiyama name through the mud to the fact that they ultimately get defeated in a love hotel.
Yeah. Again, I don't have an issue with the game doing it. It's more just if I was Nishiki, I'd be rolling in my grave at what my family's become. I just think it's an interesting direction.
It's almost like another sort of moral punishment on him for what he did. It's like a curse.
I guess to be fair, his family always was a bunch of just kind of 2-bit thugs.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
He tells the person he's talking with that Kiryu's likely to keep looking into the Okinawa deal, and that Kiryu probably knows that the guy is involved, the person he's talking to. So likely, he's going to come straight to him. He sighs, saying how it was him who brought him into the Okinawa deal, so he guesses it's his fault if Kiryu comes after him. But it's worth it for you, building this resort. Net your family an easy 100 bill. Just so happens that also makes you a key suspect in the 6th chairman's shooting. Majima-san.
Oh, the bloody chapter's called Mad Dog. I don't know why I'm surprised at this, but this is a twist. Yeah, okay, cool. So Majima wants the resort to be built in Okinawa.
Well, Majima's unsure. Majima's in on the deal. Majima's part of it. Hamazaki gets up, saying that he just wants Kamurocho to himself, so Majima knows what needs done. After all, Majima has the most to lose if Kiryu gets in their way. He walks over behind Majima, who sat there silently, stone-faced. He puts his hand firmly on Majima's shoulders, leaning down and getting close into his face. Doesn't matter how you do it, just do it, or your head's the one that'll roll. Kiryu sits in the bar the next morning, Ricky asleep on the counter beside him. He's looking down at the portrait of Kazuma. Suddenly, the door opens and Date runs in with his reporter colleague, shouting that they have a huge story, tossing Kiryu a paper. The Defense Minister Tamiya has reached an agreement with the Okinawan General Assembly. The military expansion is moving ahead.
Oh.
But remember that and the resort are 2 halves of a whole.
Oh, yeah.
Hence, the resort is also back in the public eye and picking up traction.
Okay.
So we were remember that was 2 years ago that these were originally tabled, and it's kind of implied that it stalled for a while in the middle.
Okay.
And that it's only recently started picking up steam again. Also, another thing. He hands Kiryu a picture. A tip slid across their desk that morning. Kiryu takes it, looking shocked. It's Majima, sat across a table from Minister Suzuki. Seems that Majima Construction are the ones tapped to build the Okinawan results.
Oh, very good. Oh, I really appreciate that we haven't gotten rid of Majima Construction, because I assumed that this was just going to be, he just doesn't do that anymore. But I really like that. That's cool. Okay.
We don't see as much of it, but it's very much still kind of at the core of his family's
Very
business.
happy.
Awesome.
They're just also doing more crime on the side as well now. So Kiryu was surprised that Majima was wrapped up in all of this. He didn't think that he'd be involved at all, let alone kind of at the center. But he doesn't think that Majima is the one leading the charge. Nor does he think that Majima is the one behind the shootings. He doesn't believe it. Date's not so sure, but Kiryu stands strong that Majima isn't the type to break promises. Date pushes, what if Kiryu's wrong? Then I'll just have to kill him. Kiryu decides that he needs to talk to Majima. Date tells him that the family HQ hasn't moved, so it's off to Purgatory we go. Kiryu heads over to find the Kamurocho Hills project still under development, but also still largely an empty lot. It actually looks more empty than the last time we were here. He spots the small portable Majima family office in the center. Just one of those, how construction buildings, it's a tiny little building. It's just like a single tiny building. It's like about the size of this desk in the center.
A lot of schools in the UK, you would do classes in those. So like our secondary school, where you go for anyone listening, not in Scotland, where we went between the ages of like 12 and 18. It was like a 60s building, and it was really horrible, and it like hadn't been finished, or there wasn't enough space, so those little knock-up offices that you described. What do you call them? Those little... They're kind of above the ground on little wooden struts. We would do our English classes in those.
My entire primary 4, when I was maybe like, was it 8 years old? 8 years old, that was my entire year in one of those.
And it's freezing in winter.
Yes, it sucks. Yeah.
So he heads into the small portable Majima family office, finding it empty except for a single rotary phone center of a desk in the middle of the room.
Very controlled.
Next to it is a small paper sign reading dial 007 for assistance. He does, but on the other side only gets back cackling laughter, pre-recorded seemingly. Frustrated, he hangs up the phone and heads outside, only to be met by a crowd of Majima family men swarmed encircling the office.
There are like 1,000.
It's like 1,000 men that seemingly have all come purely because Majima rang this phone number. I'm curious you rang this phone number.
How has Majima got this many people working for him? The mad dog has this many loyal followers, ready to jump on Kiryu at a moment's
I mean,
notice.
think of how many zombies we had to fight through.
Fantastic.
They all see Kiryu and immediately get down into that low, welcome chairman bow.
Very fun.
It's at all of them just straight down, hands on knees, head low.
Just because he called a number.
Yeah. The crowd at the front in front of Kiryu parts. Amusingly, they never get up from their bow. They just kind of shuffle still in their bow to kind of part the Red Sea as Majima comes walking through them.
He choreographed this. This is choreographed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he did. He heads straight up to Kiryu, bright smile as always. What's up, Kiryu-chan? Didn't spook you, did we? Kiryu asks, what the fuck's with this crowd? Majima responds how they're his chaperones. World's so weird these days, it ain't even safe to have an office above ground anymore. Anyway, why don't we take this somewhere a bit more private? He turns the crowd on this side this time, again parting, never getting up from their bow. They're bowed the entire time they're doing this.
You just know this shot was in the trailer. That's too good.
Yeah. Probably. Just shuffles away as they open up straight to that little, subway entrance down into the true purgatory.
So that, and Majima still runs that. He still owns all of that.
Majima is running Purgatory, running Majima Construction, running the Majima family, and also apparently brokering deals in Okinawa.
He's arguably the most powerful character in the series right now.
Yeah. Well, one thing to do note is you get down there and it's deserted. It's not like run down or broken, but it's clearly not in operation anymore. The lights are off. The street's empty. So we kind of just silently walk through it until we finally get down to Majima's favorite bit, the Coliseum. Mm-hmm. He stops at the door, turning to Kiryu. Only thing fighting in here these days is dust bunnies. It'll be quiet. Come on. He leads him into the dark Coliseum, reminiscing on their memories there together as they take the center stage. Kiryu asks if it's closed, with Majima telling him that it's been about a year now. His attention was taken away.
This is getting reopened in about 15 minutes. We need our Coliseum game, right?
By the Okinawa resort deal. A wicked smile crosses Majima's face. Guess the Viper's out the bag. Kiryu asks why Majima ended up getting involved. He says that he was trying to keep his promise, make things easier for Daigo, smooth over all the politics bullshit. Kiryu reminds him that Daigo didn't want involved with the resort deal. That's what got him shot. To which Majima replies that he's been thinking about that himself lately. Kiryu tells Majima that he doesn't believe that he could have up and done all this on his own, though. He's working with somebody. Majima doesn't respond, stone-faced. Kiryu pushes, getting only silence in response. Finally, Majima breaks his silence. Kiryu-chan, you might not believe it, but I take the Yakuza code real seriously. Even if someone's up and framed me, I'm not going to be spilling the beans for free. He raises his hand, and with a click of his fingers, the room illuminates, bursting to life. Suddenly, hundreds of people who were not there a second ago are in their tables, drinks at the ready, cheering stood as the lights go around them.
Okay, shh. I'm gonna go get him. Go get him. Go get him. Shh. Yeah. One guy coughs and he shoots him.
The cage for the Coliseum starts lowering down. Majima reaches up to his collar, ripping away the necktie as the announcer rings out. Ladies and gentlemen, at long last, the legendary duo returns. You know how it all works with Majima, boy. They rip off their jackets. Majima finally melting away from the serious, stony facade we've seen him in the entire game, back to the rabid dog that we know.
Oh, good.
Pulling a knife as the gong rings. Fucking, he teleports in this game. It's bullshit, this fight. He fucking, like, he's, like, weaving, batting back to the stage. But he has this little sidestep, and he leaves, like, purple after effects after himself. He's, like, teleporting in circles around the arena.
Is this the hardest of the Majima fights to this point?
Because the engine is ass, maybe.
Yeah.
But arguably, his 1s are considerably harder.
Yeah.
I get that.
If you are buying tickets to this, by the way, this is the biggest fight of all time that you could buy tickets for. The two most famous members of the Yakuza, the two best fighters in the country.
Look at this room. This is the Moulin Rouge of Colosseum, folks. It's fantastic.
It's bougie. But obviously, and as per usual, Majima is no match for the king of the ring. The men share a smile and laugh as Majima offers his hand, Kiryu offers Majima his hand, pulling him to his feet. Well, a promise is a promise. Come meet me in my office and we'll have a chat. Chapter 8. Conspirators. Nice short chapter.
Yeah, nice short chapter.
Nice short Majima's back chapter. There's Majima. Go talk to him. Cool. Chapter over. They head out of the Colosseum back to the old palace at the end of Purgatory, where Majima lays it all on the table. The fact that he's working with Hamazaki. Seems that Hamazaki wanted involved in the Okinawa project from the second that he heard the Tojo were in on it. So the second that Daigo dropped it, he picked it back up behind the scenes.
Okay.
Majima tells them that at first, it didn't make sense why Hamazaki had come to Majima Construction with such a juicy deal. But it's all becoming crystal clear now. He reminds Kiryu of the photo he was shown. He thinks Hamazaki was the one who slid that tip across their desk, making it look like it was Majima making all the dirty deals with Suzuki. That hits the news, and Suzuki's straight in the slammer, letting Hamazaki clean up the pieces for himself like a vulture, net of killing. And if anybody else finds out, Majima's the fall guy for the Yakuza. Majima continues to say that it's not just Okinawa that Hamazaki wants. He wants the whole of Kamurocho to himself. With Daigo and Kashiwagi filled with lead, and Kanda beaten to a pulp by Kiryu, the city is Hamazaki's for the taking. Planned meticulously from the get-go. But there's more to it than that, comes a familiar voice. Suddenly, the floor around Majima's desk cracks.
Love it.
Lowering down to the earth, down to the hideaway of our favorite informist, the florist of Sai, our favorite plot convenience.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. He's off to give us the second half of the game here.
And it was weird seeing him in police get-up for a while, but now he's back to open robe, nips out, cigar, chomping, pervy action. There he is.
Our favorite peeping Tom.
Yeah.
So he's moved back to his old hideaway after leaving the police following that incident 2 years ago. He doesn't own Purgatory anymore. Majima still owns it, but Majima lets him, keep a little surveillance room.
Okay.
So
are we to take it from the twist at the end of the last scene that Purgatory isn't actually abandoned? It was just Majima setting up this reveal of people. Is the rest of Purgatory still in action?
You walk back out of the place later, and yes, it's back in action. I have no clue whether it has been reopened in the last 5 minutes. In fact, there is some dialogue later that suggests it did reopen in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But maybe that Majima had saved the grand opening for when Kiryu came.
That's so good.
It very much has been out of action for the past year. It has been dead.
Yeah.
But it's back now.
You were just a regular patron of Purgatory, and Kiryu is back in town after, it's been shut down for years, and Kiryu's back. You go home, you grab your mace, you give him a quick ring up, Majima's gonna reopen it, he's back! It's finally time!
According to the florist, Hamazaki is planning on selling the whole resort to the Chinese when he's through. He flashes up a picture on the monitors of Hamazaki and a very familiar old face. Lao Ka Long, the leader of the Snake Flower Triad.
Oh.
Huh.
Apparently, after Kiryu brought down the Triad 4 years ago, Lao Ka Long went back to China waiting for his chance at revenge. That was when he found the small little Hamazaki family hiding in Yokohama. And with Lao's backing, they exploded into the superpower that they are today. So that's why he's been able to get up with only 10 men. They were a tiny little outfit. Lao came in, he's like, you guys are basically going to be my figureheads. We'll lift you. Go cause chaos. Kiryu asks why the florist knows all this, with him revealing that he was actually hired to look into it by Daigo Dojima.
Good old Daigo.
Seems that Daigo came to him about a year ago with suspicions that there might be a traitor in the Tojo, and then they worked together to suss all of this out. Majima clearly didn't know this because he asked for confirmation that if it was Hamazaki who shot Daigo and Kashiwagi. Probably. What do you mean, probably? If I wanted ambiguous bullshit, I would have gone to a fortune teller. The florist tells him to calm the fuck down, and that actually he had dropped looking into this for a while and only picked it back up after Daigo was shot.
Right.
Around that time, that a new actor joined the stage. He pulls a video feed up on the screen. A feed of Kazuma. Kiryu pulls out the sketch, the florist questioning it, but before Kiryu can answer, one of the florist's men shouts that something is going down in Kamurocho.
No, not the time.
He changes the video feed. It's Lao Kalong leading an army of Chinese soldiers. The Snake Flower Triad is invading Kamurocho.
So not the time.
They walk through the main streets, sabers in hand, not even trying to hide. Lao pulls a photo from his pocket. A photo of Rikia. He tells one of his subordinates to find this man.
What? Why?
They fan out across the city as Kiryu and the others watch from the monitor in horror. Kiryu quickly calls Rikia. He's fine when he picks up. He's gotten bored of Serena, and he's out being a fucking tourist again. But it's not long before the telltale signs of a scuffle on the other end, before some screams, a grunt, and the call drops.
Oh, God.
He rushes out of purgatory to find the streets above swarmed with Chinese soldiers. He brawls through them, beating information out of them as he goes. They try and halt his progress, surrounding him with black fans, putting up barricades that Kiryu breaks apart with his fists, until ultimately, after a brief chase sequence, he manages to catch a Snakeflower officer who tells him that Lao is on the roof of a building on Nakamichi Avenue with Rikia.
Classic. Boss fight time.
Classic. Of course, it's not a casual walk to get there. Kiryu continuing to need to kick ass through the streets until he arrives at the building, breaking the teeth of the officer guarding the door. Kiryu barges onto the roof. Finding Rikia held captive by two armed men, Lao stood next to him. "Oh, how I've missed you, Kazuma Kiryu." He wanted Kiryu, so this was all just a little lure for him.
Oh.
Kiryu shouts to let Rikia go. He has nothing to do with this. "Oh, but you misunderstand." Lao does one of his signature... Anytime you see Lao, he's doing fucking flips and shit. He's like a fucking gymnast. He's up there when he starts and he does like a 10-time front flip. And then when he lands, he does like some breakdance moves until he like stands up.
Love it. Love a show.
What's this guy's deal?
So extra.
Yeah.
My alliance with Hamazaki was forged for nothing more than revenge on you. He motions to a subordinate who tosses him a spear.
Poor Hamazaki. It's not that he's like puppeteering shit and like is making his deals and worming his way in. And this guy's just been effectively going, yeah, whatever your plans are, I don't really care. When's Kiryu going to show up?
And then also,
Basically.
bear in mind, this is all probably part of Kazuma's plan, which they don't know about.
50D chess.
Oh, yeah, okay, right, cool. So, boss.
Have you missed 50D chess?
No, I haven't. Sorry. Continue. So, just clear, sorry, just so I'm absolutely clear.
Yeah.
For a second there, it seemed like Rikia was messed up with the Chinese. He's not. This was just a
they were just
ploy.
acting.
No, they just seemingly knew that Rikia was Kiryu's friend.
That's
Like,
all
if
this
we get Rikia, Kiryu will come out.
Just revenge. Cool.
Just revenge.
I love me a bit of good old fashioned.
He's here for like a weird little like extra boss, basically.
Yeah, cool.
So he signals to a subordinate who tosses him his signature spear, catching it, absolutely doing spins around his entire body, flipping it up
I
in
hope
the air.
Kiryu does an Indiana Jones and
just
just
shoots
pulls out the gun.
Before ending it in a nice low battle pose. As per Yakuza 1, Lao's fight is a pain in the ass, especially now that he has unlimited fucking block. But it's fun. Yakuza breaks his... Yakuza? John Yakuza? Kiryu breaks his spear, and he fights barehanded for a while before he, crouches down and he pulls fucking Wolverine claws out of his, like, back pocket, I guess.
Kind of like, did the Hitman in Zero not have something similar?
Something like that. And of course, yeah, it's basically exact, except this time they're, like, curved at the top.
Ooh, nice.
So they can, like, and of course, he takes a second to, press down on the D-pad and do a little taunt as he gnashes the claws into the ground, creating some sparks.
I like this guy.
Just little dance. And then he rejoins the battle. But obviously, Lau seems to forget that whilst he has Wolverine claws, he does not have adamantium bones. So now he just has broken bones.
Yeah.
But despite his femurs being a pile of powder, Lau isn't done with Kiryu, hanging onto his leg like a desperate, freshly dumped partner, while Kiryu tries to climb the fence to get up to Rikia.
You will fight me, Kiryu!
Please, this took 4 years. Please, God.
So Kiryu's trying to climb the fence. Lau's hanging off of his leg. As Lau shouts to one of his men, watching the man put his saber to the throat of Rikia, going to cut off his head.
This sword, by the way, for anyone listening along that one of the henchmen has, would not look out of place in a Final Fantasy game. It is the biggest sword I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is. It's a humongous scimitar.
The man raises his saber high, slicing down when bang! A splotch of red as a bullet strikes him in the chest. The other man swiftly meeting the same fate, freeing Rikia. Kiryu and Lau's heads turn to the source of the bullet,
Is it Kazuma?
spying a familiar figure on a nearby rooftop. Lau's face twists in horror. What? But you're supposed to be dead! A bullet strikes Lau dead between his eyes, killing him instantly. Kiryu turns back, watching Kazuma, smoking guns still aimed.
It's almost like whenever Kazuma shoots someone with an intent to kill, he kills them right away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Kazuma goes to leave. Kiryu's shouting after him to wait, to answer as to whether he's Shintaro Kazuma or not. And what's more, why did he shoot Daigo and Nakahara? He turns, looking at Kiryu, and in fluent English, "So, you're Kazuma Kiryu. Beautiful eyes. Like I heard from my brother before."
You called it! Very good! Twin brother!
Kazuma walks off.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm actually so chuffed about this. Not just for the campy soap opera-ness of it all, but just the fact that we know that this isn't a Kazuma fake-out.
No, he's not
someone else.
Shintaro Kazuma is very much still dead.
Oh, very good.
I'm enjoying the fact that his brother is also the world's deadliest hitman.
I just love the fact that he says all that in fluent English.
Yeah, weird.
But notably with still a Japanese voice actor, so it is very much in a Japanese accent.
Is that notable for the plot, or is it just a one-off?
And notably, Beautiful Eyes is a massive meme in the community because of the way that it's pronounced.
I guess it's just supposed to be, it's an easy way to believe him. That it's like, oh, okay, this isn't Kazuma. He doesn't sound like Kazuma when he speaks. Second is probably just a good explanation of why we've not heard about him till now. He's been in the States. He's just been a mile away, a world away.
He's in charge of the black-suited CIA types then.
Yes, because we know that Wesker is working for him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
I don't know about you guys.
What's his name? Sorry, are we waiting for that?
Kazuma?
For now, we're just calling him fake Kazuma. Okay.
No, we're not, he's not a fake Kazuma, he's Kazuma.
Oh, good point. Yeah, because Kazuma's a surname. Sorry. Okay.
So, I don't know about you guys. I'm a bit confused.
Oh, really? How can we help?
There's
No, I'm not confused at all. I think we just keep going. Main plot.
Yeah, main plot.
Well, you see, I think I might need somebody to explain the Chapter 9, the plot.
We thought you were about to do side story stuff.
Don't hold your breath.
If this chapter 9 being called the plot means that you've just filled it with side stuff, I riot.
I think it's another meaning of the word plot, personally, but...
if I remember right, there's not a single second of side content in this, and it is the densest chapter in the entire game.
Oh my god, right, okay.
This chapter is truly the plot. Kiryu heads back to Purgatory, where Majima and the Florist are waiting for him, joined by Date. None of them know what to think of Kazuma. Kiryu turns to see Rikia, sat on the floor, head dropped low, just kind of like between his legs. Kiryu asks if he's alright and gets a very obvious no, he's not. Rikia doesn't know how to process all of this. He's used to small town scuffles. This is way over his head. Why'd Kazuma save his life? Especially after he shot the boss. Kiryu crouches down, looking softly at Rikia, as he again tells him that he needs to go back to Okinawa. Kiryu has loose ends to tie up here, but nothing's keeping him here. Rikia tries to resist, but is ultimately persuaded when Kiryu gives him the heartfelt plea to go look out for Saki and Morning Glory for him. And Rikia agrees that he'll go back to Okinawa.
Yeah, good.
The others watch on when suddenly the phone on the florist's desk rings. Which, despite the florist not owning this place, weirdly the florist is the one side of the desk this time. He's just stolen it back. He like, Majima got up and he's like, mine. Dibs.
He just wanted to sit down, sorry.
Seems that there's a visitor here for Kiryu.
Oh.
Mine, the head of the Hakuho clan.
Oh yeah, Mr. Moneybags.
So Mr. Apparently, Mr. Super Faithful to Daigo, which always puts you top of the suspect list.
Mine strolls in, a large briefcase in his hand, taking in the sights as he walks up to the others. A gaudy place like this has been underneath Kamurocho all this time. Who would have thought? Kiryu asks what he wants, with Mine responding, asking for forgiveness. He tells Kiryu that his organization is in part to blame for all his trouble, so he's here to take accountability to Kiryu. Accountability? Mine's face goes stern as he slams the briefcase down on the table. He spins it around to face Kiryu, undoing the latches and beginning to open it. Everyone watches on, goes pale. Rikia throws up in his mouth. Even God. Majima is shocked.
Oh god.
Whose head is it?
In the case is the head of Patriarch Kanda.
So he cut his brother's head off.
Cut his brother's head off.
His blood brother. Oh, Big Slapper's dead.
Big Slapper's dead.
That is actually... Okay, I was kidding before when I crossed out Nishikiyama family, but that is 2 of the 4 captains.
Hey, Kanda, rest in pieces.
No, Nishikiyama family is...
It was a good joke.
Yeah, thanks. Didn't feel like it afterwards.
The scene flashes back to the night prior with Kanda and Mine at Hakuho HQ, which I'm pretty sure Hakuho HQ is just Mine's apartment. I'm like 99% sure it's just his apartment.
Just say they're starting their family, like out of a living room.
Like, I don't... Well, no, like that's the thing. I literally don't think that we ever see Mine not in like the living room of an apartment or like the gym.
The gym, yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, the gym is in his apartment.
Yeah.
You guys want to start a Yakuza family right here?
No.
Okay, let's do it.
I'll be the patriarch.
I mean, this is about the size of the Ryudo family office, so...
You're very much the patriarch of the lower dump experience, in that we are constantly working behind your back to try and undermine you.
I thought you were going to just go because you're going to have a kid, but fair enough. Yeah.
So Kanda and Mine are at Hakuho HQ, with Kanda raging about Kiryu, running around, smashing up Mine's apartment. He spins around, screaming at Mine for sitting there stone-faced, demanding that he say something. Mine calmly responds, reminding Kanda that this is his office, and to be more respectful.
Yeah. To be fair, I would cut that guy's head off.
Kanda continues his tirade, blaming Mine for not getting involved and allowing Kiryu to butt-fuck him. And Mine reminds him that he made it clear in the officers' meeting that he doesn't see Kiryu as an enemy. This is his fault for picking a fight. Kanda sees Red shouting about getting lectured by a limp-dick coward as he rips art off the wall, smashes vases, even flips an entire cabinet over. Mine continues to sit silently while all this happens around him. Kanda turns his attention back to Mine, demanding his money and boys so they can go kill Kiryu. Then I'm gonna be 7th chairman! I'll even let you be my captain! Mine finally his stony facade breaks as he lets out a small laugh. You really are a fool, aren't you? Mine stands up, telling him that all the artwork he just destroyed was worth over 1 billion yen. Oh. Kanda doesn't see the issue, saying how Mine could just wipe his ass with that kind of money. The money isn't the issue. You just can't seem to perceive worth. Neither theirs, nor yours. What's this? Perceive this, you shit! Kanda tries to...
That is funny, to be fair.
I hope that's
Perceive my fist!
Kanda tries to go for Mine, but Mine counters it with a straight jab to the gut, absolutely flooring Kanda. I'm much stronger than I look. Mine swings again, Again, blood splurting from Kondo with each blow until he's thrown back to the floor against a wall. Mine stands above his bruised and bloody body, cleaning the blood from his fist with a handkerchief. You're useless to me now. Except maybe as an apology to Kiryu-san.
Huh.
He leaves Konda, his boys entering the room as he goes to leave. Don't do it here. He's made a big enough mess as it is. The men surround Konda, his screams being the last thing Mine hears as he walks out of the door.
He's too vicious and badass for me to fully trust him at this point.
For sure.
Like, I don't think
he,
this is...
just cut off his sworn brother's head,
Yeah.
you know, to help, you know, make his case.
But I also think it'd be kind of dope if he was actually just an ally and a friend of Kiryu's now.
I think
Like,
the
he's just,
hint about him being so much stronger than he looks means he has to be a boss this game.
Good point.
Back in Purgatory, Mine apologizes again for allowing Kanda to rise so high above his station. He closes the briefcase. Can we consider this whole Nishikiyama family business done? He proceeds to tell Kiryu that he's planning next on assembling the family to return order to the Tojo. And as for Hamazaki, his men are currently searching for him, though he suspects that Hamazaki won't turn up.
Oh, boy.
Kiryu asks if he has an idea where Hamazaki is gone, Mine replying that he's likely no longer in the country. With Lao Ka Long dead, Hamazaki, his known partner, has likely been kidnapped by the mainland Snake Flower in retaliation. The rest of the Hamazaki family was found floating in Yokohama Bay.
God damn.
Theory. This game is going to end with Majima finally being the chairman of the Tojo. Because I'm looking at my notes, and we've got, again, there were 5 options here, including Majima. And all we have left now are Mine, who, you're right, Neil, is almost certainly going to become a boss fight, and Hamazaki, who's now in hiding.
Can I just say, Daigo is the chairman.
Daigo's not making it past this game, I think.
Daigo is 100% surviving, I think.
You think?
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right, because Chase despises Daigo. We haven't had a reason, like, to really hate him yet.
We have. He's been fucking useless.
He didn't like him when he was a child. He was trying to be a, you know, a what's the word? He was trying to sort of keep everything peaceful and keep rank and...
Yeah.
Exactly. He's trying to be a peaceful little boy in the Yakuza.
Yeah.
It's a crime family. Can't be a nice little peace boy.
I just
Even Kiryu knows that.
I disagree.
I disagree. And also, this actually brings me back to, I did want to point this out. There was a great comment on one of our Yakuza videos that I really appreciated, which is basically Monty and Neil sits down for a lore dump about a crime game where all the main characters are criminals. Monty and Neil when the criminals do criminal things. Surprise Pikachu face. Excellent comment. However, I think that like this game is more than any of the others actually highlights like what we were hoping to get from the Yakuza. We don't mind when they do crime
I don't
shit.
mind crime.
Just
it's
stop
bad
with
shit.
the really bad awful
I will
stuff.
say it for the millionth time for this series. Crime and immorality are not the same things.
But yeah, sorry, just that just reminded me of that. Anyway, sorry, you're totally right. I take back my theory. Continue with the riveting plot.
I'm not out of it. Who killed them all though? Was that
The Snake Flower.
but Mine's men killed all of the Snake Flower who were in the bay.
No. So keep in mind, Lao Ka Long is not the head of the Snake Flower Triad as a whole. That is the primary Chinese mafia in mainland China.
He's a branch
He's
captain.
the head of the branch in Japan.
Yeah.
So basically, with him dead, the mainland knew that Hamazaki was working with him. So the mainland sent Snake Flower, killed all his men, and then kidnapped him back to China.
Got you. Yeah.
So yeah, Mine's not involved. Mine just knows it.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, just let them have.
It's like everything's rounded up now. Everything's fine.
Right, okay, we've got weird Kazuma walking about, but really that's the only the plot of land, but that's really all that there is. This conspiracy's over.
So, the Nishikiyama family and the Hamazaki family both gone. Mine continues to tell Kiryu that he plans to reach out to Snake Flower HQ in China to ensure that there's going to be no further bloodshed there either. Mine looks at Kiryu, telling him that the Tojo is on a knife's edge. They need him now more than ever. Please.
Third time.
Take care of himself.
Right.
Not come back, just take care of himself. I think he knows that Kiryu's going to get involved whether he asks him or not.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So he's just
stay
like,
alive,
basically stay
please.
alive.
Yeah.
He bids farewell and goes to leave, but Kiryu stops him, asking him, who told you to handle things like this? Mine says that he doesn't follow, so Kiryu restates, would Daigo have done the same thing in your shoes? To Mine's credit, he doesn't hide anything, saying that he doubts Daigo would have done this. Kiryu doesn't like that, but Mine reminds him that Daigo isn't around anymore. And as of right now, it's just him and Majima at the top of the dojo.
Yeah.
The decision to do all this was his, and his alone.
Someone had to do something.
Which, love Kiryu being like, "Oh, I don't like this because I didn't choose you as the chairman." This is fully Kiryu going, I didn't choose you, and so...
Maybe it's just Kiryu being like, oh, it's just kind of normally I have to wrap all this stuff up. I'm just...
Arguably, everything Mine has done here, great. Stellar leadership, 10 out of 10, no notes. And Kiryu's like, yeah, but you're not Daigo, and I chose Daigo, not you. So, bad.
I disagree. I think it's just Kiryu's bafflement at not having to do this all himself.
Yeah.
By the way, Kiryu...
It's like, it's chapter 9. We've got 3 chapters left, and you've done it all.
By the way, Kiryu, don't forget that some of the blame for this rests on your shoulders. Mine tells him that Daigo told him of Kiryu's orphanage, saying that he's a coward with no regard for the position that he holds.
Rude.
He may think that he's turning over a new leaf, but it's all meaningless. Mere hypocrisy. Mine continues, saying that he'll continue acting as he sees fit. Methods aside, he sees himself as Daigo's successor. Everything he does is done with the aim of aiding the Tojo clan, a motive that he's sure Daigo would approve of. Anyone that stands in his way will be eliminated, even if that person is one of their own.
I'm actually getting much more shades of Kazuma from him than I am. He reminds me of Kazuma in the like, you know, will do anything for the family, will eliminate an entire branch of the family, you know, for the good of the whole. You know, that's well,
to be fair, remember Kazuma often, like, he went along with the words, but he didn't want to. Like, it wasn't like he was like, I will do this for the good of the whole. He kind of just ultimately worked out that and even when he did, he still disobeyed orders.
No, I'm not saying he's anyone's following orders. I'm just saying it just seems quite Kazuma was incredibly practical and would take the practical step, even if it was brutal, to you know, keep things on track.
I'll never understand it. What could Daigo see in a man like you? Kiryu tells Mine that he's lost his way. Which, literally, how? What? Why? And someday, Kiryu's gonna prove it to him. Mine sneers. I don't expect you will. I have nothing to learn from you. Mine exits, leaving the rest to watch after him. Finally, Majima breaks the silence, saying that he didn't think Mine had what it take to slaughter one of his own. Pretty brutal. But hey, all the people wanting him dead are out of the picture, so nothing to worry about. But Date isn't sure. Kazuma is still out there, and it's possible that the one giving him orders is still around too.
So two things very quickly. Sorry,
Yes.
Mine's dislike of Kiryu there seems quite out of left field, right? Because obviously we've seen him take all these honourable actions to Kiryu, which is fine. That's nothing to do with liking or disliking someone. He felt he owed Kiryu what was due. He did it because it was the honourable thing to do. We can all kind of understand that. But that kind of tirade there seems somewhat out of left field. Even if Kiryu had... There seems to be like genuine vitriol there, which we've never seen any cause for. So there's something else going on here. I'm thinking, is he another child of Kazuma or another child of the other Kazuma? You know, and now I'm thinking 2 murders in 2 places. Is it the 2 Kazumas? Is it my 2 theories are the first was a military jet. We've got military. That's how they got there so fast. Or are there 2 Kazuma shooters?
Oh god, I really hope it's not that there are still 2 Kazumas. I really hope the Kazuma is dead.
Just throwing every theory out there with a chance of
The Kazuma triplets?
I think your poetry there of him being a child of Kazuma is
or
fun.
a child of a Kazuma.
Because
yeah.
well, child of the not fake Kazuma, the
uncle.
Kazuma brother, the uncle, yeah. Which means that then if he is the final boss, that's like 2 children of 2 different Kazumas fighting each other, 2 cousins.
Yeah.
Which I think it would be a really cool way to wrap this up.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But do you know what I mean there? That was so suspicious. His like, you fucking...
I've got nothing to learn from you.
Where does all that come from? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to say towards the end.
Yeah.
And really, Kazuma is now the only thing left to properly wrap up. And it feels like Mini is very unfinished.
Anyway, Hamazaki is the obvious choice for the one giving Kazuma his orders. But then, why would Kazuma save Kiryu and Rikia? Date tells Kiryu that he'll look into Hamazaki's fate, asking the florist to look into Mine and the Hakuho. Date reminds them that it's just Mine and Majima remaining at the top. What? You saying I got a horse in this race? And Dante's like, if I was, I sure wouldn't have said it to your face. Before Kiryu goes, he asks Majima if he could take up leadership of the Kazuma family in Kashiwagi's absence.
What? Okay.
They're in a bit of a pickle with their leader dead. Which, I have a note here. Surely the Kazuma family has a captain for this exact purpose? Kiryu, why do you think that you can make this decision? Why is Kiryu, a civilian, come out of nowhere and be like, I'm making this decision unilaterally? Majima, take the family over.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, at this point, he is the only remaining Kazuma-ite left. It still has sway, I think.
Majima is. No, he's not.
No, Kiryu is.
Cool. There's a captain of the Kazuma family, assumedly.
Yeah, but we've not met that character, so...
Cool. Why is he not taking over, though?
I don't know, because he's not got a name.
Anyway, Majima is confused, but are you writing a theory? Neil has just written something on a note and pocketed it for later. I'm very excited to eventually find out what that note says.
When it's so wide in the mark, I'm embarrassed to show it. I actually think that Kiryu might be his own dad.
You're my freaking dad.
This kid thinks I'm his dad.
Anyway.
I love Majima taking on the Kazuma family. Sorry, continue.
Because you just know Kazuma would have fucking hated that.
Anyway, everyone goes their separate ways, and Kiryu escorts Rikia to a taxi. He tells him to please keep the kids safe. As Rikia drives off, Kiryu gets a sudden phone call from a voice that he doesn't recognize.
Oh, no, Rick.
It's the defense minister, Tamiya.
Oh, yeah.
He tells Kiryu that as a result of the pro-Suzuki members of the Tojo pushing the resort deal following Daigo's shooting, he had to ensure that his military expansion deal passed as well. Kiryu's confused, saying how he thought the resort started back up because of him trying to pass the bill, not the other way around. But Tamiya corrects him. His attempts to see the military expansion bill passed were the result of a third party. His hand was forced. Kiryu asks him what that has to do with him, with Tamiya responding that he needs a favor. To see the resort plan shut down. Not exactly, though the end result will ultimately be the same. He tells Kiryu that if he's willing to help, to meet him at his office in the National Diet Building. He'll send a car. Well, Kiryu has questions anyway, so... Which, wild that he's like, hello, civilian who also used to be the fourth chairman of the biggest crime syndicate in Japan. Come to what is essentially the Parliament building.
Yeah.
Come on over.
This will be a good look for me.
Yeah. Kiryu calls Date to update him, and Date's like, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Take me with you, buddy. They meet up at the Millennium Tower where they find Tamiya's secretary, Higaki, noticeably not Toma. It's a new secretary, Higaki, waiting.
So who the hell was Toma?
He tries to stop Date from coming, knowing that he's like, Date, you're the media. You can't come to this private meeting.
What, me? I'm just a guy in a trench coat.
But Date's like, now hold your horses. What we have here is the prominent government official arranging a private meeting with the ex-chairman of a major crime syndicate. If you don't let me come, I'll have to write an article based on that info alone, and who knows what kind of conclusions I could draw from that.
Does Date in the game become a 1930s newsie?
He's totally changed now that he's a reporter. And I like him a lot more.
The great thing is this jacket suits both detectives and newsies. Never had to change anything. And my drinking. Hey!
Have you seen my daughter?
Accent. Kiryu tells Higaki that he might as well let Date come, but promising that Date won't write about any of this. They get in the car and drive off to the National Diet Building, arriving at the office of Minister Tamiya, smoking his bell cigar. He's like, of course, he does a thing where we walk in and he's like facing the window smoking, and they walk in and he just spins around to face them because of course he does.
I always enjoy, I quite like the idea of someone spinning a bit too far. You know, when you spin, you slightly lose control of the chair and you keep going a bit. Oh, sorry.
He gives a bit of Churchill vibes. A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. But he takes a couple puffs. He goes, "You're younger than I expected." Date introduces himself, but Tamiya knows the famous detective turned reporter. Tamiya brings up Kiryu's... Oh, Jesus. Tamiya brings up Kiryu's orphanage, saying how the rumor is that that's why Daigo backed out of the deal. Daigo wants to know the point. My point is, our objectives in all of this are aligned. He gets up, gesturing at them to sit as he takes his place across from them, so that he can give the mother of all fucking lore dumps.
Yes.
This is straight up about a 45-minute cutscene.
Is this the plot part 2,
This
basically?
this is the plot.
Oh, okay.
Mine's stuff was there. This is the plot.
This is a Kojima-style Metal Gear dump, it sounds like.
Hey, you see my daughter?
You see my daughter?
Bring me pictures of Spider-Man.
He looks at Kiryu, asking, doesn't he want the resort shut down? Kiryu agrees, but wouldn't that end Tamiya's military expansion plan? It will, yes. He sighs, leaning back in his chair, a distant look in his eyes. But that doesn't matter now. I never had any intention of passing the bill in the first place.
Huh.
Kiryu and Date are shocked, demanding that he explain himself. He begins his exposition dump from the beginning, starting with his military expansion plan, which we learn was actually intended to bring out a highly secretive global syndicate to light and destroy them. Obviously.
Are we going Metal Gear?
Global Syndicate?
The organization is known as Black Monday, a group of black market weapons dealers who, following the 1987 New York Stock Exchange crash, when the world was thrown into an economic depression, were founded by a man named Andre Richardson. They took the name Black Monday after the name of the day that the markets crashed. Advertising the new Okinawan military base as the linchpin of the revolutionary BMD, the ballistic missile defense system.
I love acronyms.
Trillions were spent on combining American money and Japanese technological excellence. Would be a system that would make Japan untouchable by hostile nations. The safest country known to man.
Very quickly, Black Monday, sick name for a secret organization. Really like it.
True. The BMD would lead to a drastic shift in world military powers. At least, that's what they want people to believe. Truth is, the system doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There's no BMD.
Seems quite far-fetched.
But it is the most tantalizing bait for a black market weapons dealer imaginable. He deceived the entire country with his bill, but just maybe it could bring this group to light. But what changed? Well, simple. Tamiya has managed to ensnare Black Monday. Date asks then if he was never planning on opposing Suzuki for Prime Minister, with Tamiya chuckling. Such a thing is for the young and vain. I have no interest in the position.
Less like Churchill, but yeah.
Well, yes.
I that's really interesting.
I more just mentioned the gruff bulldog
Oh,
smoking
yeah,
a
yeah,
cigar away.
And also, like the whole sort of plan and deception is quite Churchill. I don't know how this guy feels about Indian people, but
Kazuma and Wesker
This
both
is
work for
cool.
Black Monday, right? And probably Toma. Toma, personal secretary, is here to maybe... We're probably going to do a last minute, Black Monday do, it was all bullshit all along, sort of shit.
I've had to reorder, because basically the way this happens is you sit down and then get options about topics, and you just select a topic and you get a 5-minute cutscene about that topic.
Is it voiced?
Oh, they're all voiced, yeah.
Okay.
They're all voiced, but it's basically like, here's 10 topics we've not learned about. Just select them in your leisure of order. But if you go in order, they don't make sense. So I've like reshuffled them to go in an order that actually makes sense.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Okay.
Anyway, they move on to another question. Does Tamiya know who shot Daigo? Unfortunately, he doesn't. However, when Date lets it slip that it was a Cosmo lookalike, Tamiya's tone seems changed, surprised that it was Cosma who pulled the trigger. Kiryu asks if Tamiya knows him, with Tamiya replying, he does, if they're talking about the same one at least. Kiryu asks him to tell him of the Cosma he knows. Joji Kazuma, younger brother of Shintaro Kazuma. Joji. Kiryu is shocked. Kazuma never told him that he had a brother. Tamiya isn't surprised that Kazuma never told him, though. From what we know, the Kazuma brothers lost their parents at a young age, and as such, had a tight bond. But sadly, their bond wasn't allowed to be. After all, they walked opposite paths in life. You see, Joji was a cop, working in what would later come to be known as the Foreign Affairs Division, Division 1. The elite officers.
Okay.
Not only that, Joji Kazuma is Minister Tamiya's only friend.
Oh.
They came up together in the force. Everything in Okinawa so far has been orchestrated by the two of them together.
I can't explain my logic in this. I don't want someone in a senior position of government who has one friend. I will not elaborate. I don't know why I think that.
Fair enough.
I think that's fair, yeah.
Tamiya came up with a plan, and Joji used his organization to carry it out. Kiryu asks then if Joji shooting Daigo is part of the plan, to which he simply responds that he can't rule out the possibility. Wasn't it your plan?
Yeah.
Oh, also, Joji, yeah, he left the cops because now he's American CIA, baby!
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Somebody in post edited in some eagle screeches there. Specifically, he's with the... Specifically, he's with the CIA's Far East Intelligence Division. Okay. You said CIA earlier, and I had to, bite my tongue. Yeah. I hate it.
Okay.
I hate it.
Okay, so he's not in Black Monday.
On the topic of the CIA, it seems Joji joined because he had already been tracing Black Monday for years. But why did he... Which I also love. The way they word is but why did he... what was the necessary evil of joining the CIA? This wicked organization.
Yeah, for sure.
But why did he shoot Daigo? Well, Tamiya doesn't know that, but he does know the directives that the CIA was given. 1, track all movements Black Monday makes with regards to the Okinawan military expansion bill. And 2, eliminate anything or person that puts the success of the present mission at risk.
I mean, I fully believe that the Yakuza have done less global evil than the CIA. I mean...
That's probably fair.
Yeah. I don't think Yakuza have destabilized too many foreign governments, to my knowledge.
Maybe not on purpose.
Just the Japanese government.
They're pretty isolationist, don't they?
As such, anyone not willing to give up the land needed was deemed in the way. But Joji isn't the only CIA agent around. Kiryu's already met the men in black suits, sent to eliminate Kiryu because he himself was getting in the way.
Oh, so they were just CIA.
So it was probably also the CIA that killed Kashiwagi.
Trying to kill Kiryu.
Yeah. To Joji, the CIA is all that matters anymore. 30 years ago, the nation was even more conservative than it is now. And a cop having a high-ranking brother in the Yakuza? Well, when that came to light, the only thing Joji was able to do was resign. That's when the Americans reached out to him, giving him a new life, a new calling. I have a note in here that, Jesus, okay, my head hurts at the reveals. Mm-hmm. So the fuck is the favor that Tommy wants? Tommy responds that he needs them to save the lives of 2 men. The first is his old secretary, Toma, who resigned 2 weeks ago after finding out all of these lore reveals.
Oh, no.
His head hurt too much. These days, Toma is working for Mine.
Oh.
So Tamiya is worried that he's going to spill all the secrets about the military expansion bill to Mine, which in turn is going to get him silenced by the second person he needs them to save, Joji Kazuma. So why did Toma go to Mine for help pushing the resort? If the ones leading the charge were Suzuki, Joji, and a random Tojo party, since the Tamashiro incident 2 years ago, no land was bought whatsoever. So that was the one where Saki was kidnapped. Since then, no land was bought. Joji only shot Nakahara to keep the bill alive. Basically, remember back at the start where he was like, Daigo, you wouldn't fucking do it. Here's the land. We're moving this plan ahead.
Okay.
So if word got out that land acquisition stalled, so would everything else, and there goes Black Monday. The CIA went after Nakahara first to get the deed for Morning Glory, hoping to force Daigo's hand. But clearly Daigo's hand wouldn't be forced. But now, Toma's gone to Mine, likely promising him full control of the resort for his trouble. All Toma cares about is benefiting Okinawa. Doesn't care who runs it.
Fuck this guy. So many people have died because of this plan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy.
Yep.
And Joji Kazuma,
yeah.
Not a good guy at all.
CIA just opened fire on a skyscraper with a fucking Gatling gun.
Last year, when the link between the plan and the Yakuza almost came out, Toma introduced Tamiya to Daigo to ensure that the base didn't go down with it. But, obviously, he never cared about the base, just the resort and the wealth that it would bring to Okinawa. He likely met Mine when he brought Tamiya to the Tojo HQ to meet Daigo. But they don't fully understand Mine's motivations. He's practically at this point the de facto lead of the Tojo. Power would be his if he just kept his head down, so why make a move now? Q&A time over. There's your lordum. That's the plot.
Thanks, everyone.
Everything is shuffled.
see you next episode.
Tamiya gets up from his desk, walking over to the window, asking them again to stop Joji and save Toma.
Okay.
He sits back at his desk, picking back up his cigar and puffing away. He knows Toma betrayed him, but he sees incredible promise and conviction in him. He doesn't fault him. He'll grow to be a great politician one day. And Tamiya won't abandon one of his men. Kiryu agrees to help, but not for Tamiya, only to save Morning Glory. Tamiya could give less of a fuck for his motivations.
Question for you about Toma, Chase. Yeah. Have you cut bits of Toma from the script? Because it feels like Toma's only been in like 1 or 2 scenes.
He was in the start and he was now.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay. It seems like a lot of weight is being placed on this character, moving over to Mine and stuff. And I'm thinking,
he's almost at this point. He's just like a MacGuffin for us to go and get on behalf of this guy, and it will lead into
a Wesker. There's been no mention of Wesker.
Is Wesker just a souped-up henchman? Is he really functionally for the story? Is he just?
Yeah, is he just a CIA guy? Basically, okay. We put a lot of weight on him, but it turns out
of how he looks.
Just a badass.
It's Albert Wesker.
Okay, cool. So Wesker's CIA, no problem.
So Toma is in Okinawa with the prefectural assembly. He gets up, going back to the window and chuckling. I thought Yakuza like you only existed in stories these days. Also, by the way, they have visitors. He goes to the window to see about a bajillion men in black suits surrounding the National Diet Building.
Okay.
This is Suzuki's security, apparently. His private army.
Jesus.
And he's like, do whatever it takes to get through him. I'll take the fall. Fuck it.
It's an excuse so we have a fight, right? That's what this is.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, okay.
By the way, before we go, Kiryu has one more question. Doesn't every minister dream of being prime minister one day? What gives? Tamiya flips the script. Can a foot soldier become a chairman just by saying they want to? Those who reach the top are lifted there by their actions, whether they will it or not. He turns to Kiryu with a coy smile. Am I wrong? Kiryu returns the smile, laughing. Guess you've got a point.
Yeah, I never planned anything in my life once, and I ended up in charge twice.
Yeah.
They head outside to meet the crowd, Kiryu telling Date to use his press badge to sneak out the back while he mops up here. If he doesn't make it back, tell Majima everything. The swarms of soldiers are seemingly endless, really pushing Kiryu to his limits. Like, you beat up like 50 of them and like 50 more just walk out the thing.
I love the reliance he has on Majima. If I don't make it back, tell Majima everything. He will take it from there. Like,
I have for all his faults, I have no doubts about that man.
Yeah, exactly. I always know where I stand with him.
They're besties.
Yeah.
But just as he thinks hope might start fading, there's the sound of a horn as a bright pink truck barrels through the gates. It's blaring its horn. It steamrolls through the crowd, screeching to a stop in front of Kiryu.
Who's driving it, Chase?
The door slams open as our favorite mad dog shouts out, Kiryu-chan! Where'd you go?
He just got bored and he's come to check in.
Kiryu flags him over, getting back well, thank the freaking stars! Thought I squished you flat like a bug. They hop in and the two make their escape out of here.
Fantastic. So good. Look, is that like leopard curtains to separate the back?
Yes.
Oh, that's so good. What a fantastic truck.
Also, I will note, he's finally back in his actual outfit. Yeah. He's not in his black and red suit anymore.
Cool.
Chapter 10, Unfinished Business. Mine sits at his desk, looking down at a framed photo of a young boy. We hear memory voiceover as we see the boy with what looks like his father. Yoshitaka, where have you been? Do you know how late it is, young man? Oh, sorry, me and my friends were playing baseball. Oh, that's all it was? And here I was worrying you'd run away. Hey, and listen to this. I got the best grade in my class on our test today. Wow. I always knew you were a bright kid. The scene shifts to the boy with some other kids. Hey, let me play with you. Yeah, right. You don't even own a bat and glove. Yeah, there's no room in our game for poor orphanage trash.
Typical.
The kids all laugh. The scene shifts again to the boy, leaning on his father in his hospital bed. Dad, get up, please. Yoshitaka. Dad! Yoshitaka, listen to me. I always knew you were the smart one. Don't put that brain to waste. Make something of yourself. The father smiles warmly but pained. I'm sorry, I can't be there for you. The boy's screams for his father can be heard as it fades back to Mine in his office. A soft knock coming from his door. His secretary, Katase. He puts the picture face down on his desk, telling her to come in. She brings him his coat, telling him that his flight to Okinawa is booked and leaves in an hour and a half. He gets up, and she starts to say something besides not to. But then, of course, does anyway. So weird. But saying that he's been working himself so hard lately. If something happened to him, He smiles at her, telling her to not give him that look. He'll be fine. And he leaves. Back in New Serena, Date and Kiryu are watching news coverage of the truck plowing into the crowd at the Diet Building. The anchor saying that it's believed to have been a group opposing the military expansion bill and not just a crazy-ass Yakuza man. Kiryu asks the mama to turn the TV off as Date comments how it's going to be hard for them to get back down to Okinawa now. Them? Us? Nah, Date, you stand right here. You are not coming to Okinawa, Date. Date obviously fucking hates that plan, knowing that Mine's gonna have an army down there. He's right, Kiryu-chan, comes the voice behind them as the camera plans to reveal he was there the whole time. Majima wants to send his boys down there to rough up Mine's army for Kiryu, which, of course, Kiryu still refuses. Date asks why he's being so stubborn in this, with Kiryu responding that he only got into this to save Morning Glory. Sure, he cares about Daigo and the Tojo, but they aren't his priority, and this Okinawa business is.
Absolutely, yes.
Majima, well, I mean, you'd still accept help if people are offering the help.
I guess.
I mean, he's like, it's my business. I might die, but I'm dying for my kids.
Did Date always have this hair, or is he sort of slowly starting to model it more on Kiryu?
No, he's always had this hair. It is very similar to Kiryu's, though. I don't think I've ever noticed how similar it is.
Date, how can I say this? You are functionally useless. Please stay where you are.
He's just been reading a lot of X-Men comics, and he likes Wolverine a lot.
It kind of looks like my dad's hair when I was growing up. Oh, yeah? I wonder if this is just like that age men's hair.
I bet, from the little I know about your dad, he has a coat like that too.
I think he does. I think he does.
Nothing beats a cool long trench coat.
Now, granted, would he wear his shirt buttons? No.
Never. Always
no,
full
top buttons, tie on, but, you know, Dad, if you're ever listening to these, I don't think you are.
Oh, it's incredible.
Looking good.
My dad is just at the age where he occasionally remembers that this is a thing. He doesn't really understand it, and he'll just go, how's the recording thing you do? And I go, it's going really well. This is how we did last month. That's smashing that. That's good. That's smashing.
That's about what I got from my dad when I told him about it. I think he maybe watched he did have me like pull it up for him, and I think he watched like 5 minutes, but I think he didn't care.
Totally fair.
Not his vibe.
I had another family figure who I told about it. I actually just got a text out of the blue. I hadn't started a conversation with him, and he texted me saying, I found your podcast. You're right. It's not for me. It's the best review we'll ever get in my mind.
I mean, it's not for me, and I'm a third of it.
This is not for you. Majima fully disagrees with Kiryu's Lone Ranger, saying how the CIA and the Hakuho being involved changes things. But of course, thick boy Kiryu's mind, nah! He's got the two, count them, 2 Ryudo boys down there to back him up. So they're gonna be fine.
Christ, Majima, alright.
He does make a comment that he's like, this is the battle for Okinawa, I want to do it with Okinawan natives, which, I guess...
I think we're going to end up with a Kevin McAllister-style defense of the house with the 9 children setting death traps all throughout.
Well, Majima finally accepts that answer, knowing that Kiryu's too big of a stubborn ox to be changing his stony mind. But even so, the Majima family will keep the lights on over at Tojo HQ for him, so that he can go out and do whatever he needs to get done.
Oh, God, Majima is just the best character
Bro,
in the franchise.
Majima evolved so much as a character. Like, this is really where Majima went from being, like, the silly little side character into the trajectory that eventually led to him becoming Yakuza 0 Majima.
I don't see him even remotely as even a minor antagonist to Kiryu now. He is an ally.
He's kind of in some ways the most reliable ally.
Yeah, he's probably the only real friend that Kiryu has.
I'm not going to say that he never opposes Kiryu again.
No,
You know-
and I'm sure we'll do tutorial fights with him and all that nonsense, and I'm sure they'll scrap. But
Yeah, because ultimately, he kind of sits in a chaotic neutral position, but...
I think I called back in Yakuza 0 that he was going to be like the big bat, and this was going to be Kiryu v Majima the series.
No.
Obviously, yeah, that's clearly not the case. But I don't think we're ever going to get to the end of a Yakuza game and Majima's going to step out the shadows and go, it was me, this is my 20D chess. Like, ever. No, I always think he'll just stand with him at the end. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, so they both wish him well, Majima reminding him that he's the only one that gets to kill him, you hear? And Kiryu sets off back to Okinawa. Kiryu seemingly takes a taxi back. He goes up to the taxi and then takes it back to Okinawa, which I've never really mentioned in the other games. That's how he went to he went to Yokohama in a taxi. He went to Osaka in a taxi.
Did you say he went to Okinawa in a taxi?
He went to Okinawa
No,
in
he
a
didn't.
taxi.
That's not possible.
Which
That's a 3-hour flight.
I went online, Googled a rough internet taxi calculator, and that would have cost him roughly 991,417 yen, or just under 10 grand, and over 4 days to get back.
I gets there and it's all burned down.
Bruh, take a fucking plane. I think the realistic is that he took the thing to the airport and then got a plane. But I think it's so much funnier because he gets in a taxi and he gets out the other side in a taxi.
Yeah.
No, he's just never learned to buy plane tickets, and Haruka isn't here, so it's like, a taxi, I guess.
I like the thought that he does just have under 1 million yen just sat in his pocket.
Probably.
I mean, to be fair, at this point of the game, he probably does, so.
Yeah.
He gets back, heading straight to the kids, and definitely not stopping for any side stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the video compilation I was watching, there was about 2 hours of content between him arriving in Okinawa and actually going to the kids.
Absolutely not. Please, you've cut it.
I mean, none of them's important.
Yes.
So he finds them all playing in the yard, with them excitedly running straight to him as he turns the corner and they see him.
No.
His big, warm, goofy smile returning. He looks up and notices that they're not alone. Sat on the porch of the orphanage with them are Rikia and Mikio.
Good.
Along with Patriarch Nakahara,
Yay.
still bandaged up, but out of the hospital and able to move around to a degree.
He's got a big Terry Butcher bandage on for any football fans listening.
Very much kind of being held up by the boys, but he's out of hospital. He's doing all right.
It's pure misfit family, isn't it? It's so good.
Yeah, like, there's my big potato face boy right at the front. I love him.
Everybody else is watching Nakahara and he's like, Daddy.
I found a dead squirrel.
Kiryu is worried about Nakahara being up, but I kept you waiting long enough, brother. He catches Ricky and Nakahara up to date. Seemingly with no care, his kids are literally stood in a circle around him as he tells these two every single detail of what happened. Every death, every gore. He tells them how he butt-fucked Kanda.
I guess it's just like when your parents and their friends start talking about work as a kid, you would definitely zone out and not be able to tell what they were talking about. You know?
Suddenly, he gets a call from Tamiya. Meanwhile, his kids are celebrating the murder and ritual sacrifice from his story, dancing around him in a circle as he's getting this very important phone call.
So what we've got, crucially, is just some of the boys of the group in a little gif here. And yeah. Gary, you having a
Well, we've got like Emmy back here flapping her arms. Riona's, bobbing her head back and forth. But the kids are going feral.
Yeah.
They're like, blood sacrifice! People died! Uncle Kaz killed a dude and then he butt-fucked another! I'd also like to point out that I think this is the first GIF that we've put in any of these in the entire series. And I spent so long making this GIF so that we could have this very important visual.
Oh, did you make this GIF? Thank you for this. It's great. Unfortunately, listeners, you won't get to see this GIF because that's not how it looks in the final edit. You'll just see the static picture, but it's good. Yeah, I know.
Unless we really want to make the effort.
Make the effort.
I don't think it's worth it. It's part 2 and we're 3 hours in. I don't think it's going to get anyone to subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
So he gets the news that Toma is currently in a meeting at the prefectural office. It's going to be a lengthy meeting about the resort, and it's probably going to go through the night. As long as he's in the prefectural office, he'll be safe. So Kiryu is able to rest until the morning.
Good.
The prefectures are regions, aren't they? And so these are sort of local government.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So he's with the local Okinawan government discussing the resort. Tamiya has someone watching the meeting, though, so he'll update Kiryu once he knows Toma's next move. Okay. Kiryu tells that to Nakahara, who laughs, saying how it will give him time to spend with his kids, who have missed him something fierce.
I'm really enjoying this kid.
Just looking at all the individual reactions I can. Right, anyway, none of this is making it.
Nakahara and the other Ryudo head off to the hospital. Nakahara's got some overnight testing to get done. While Kiryu sits the kids down to tell them all about his trip. We get a comment later where the boys have gotten so bored of this. The girls are all still at the table, and Taichi goes, "If I have to hear one more word about Tokyo, I'm gonna pukio."
Best character.
Taichi doesn't understand why the girls are so into it. He wishes Uncle Kaz would talk about wrestling matches in Tokyo. He bets that they do wrestling every night. Mitsuo doesn't think that it's every night, but Taichi takes him challenging his knowledge of wrestling as a challenge and says that they're going to settle it in the ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
They run off right as Haruka comes out looking for Taichi. It's his turn to do the shopping, but he hasn't gone yet. Pesky boy. Uncle Kaz, can you go wrestle him into going? Kiryu suddenly gets weirdly... Taichi ain't responsible. He's always playing. And he goes to find him, chiding him on making everyone else take care of him, but ultimately agreeing that he can go after he finishes his wrestling match with Mitsuo. Mm-hmm. Taichi's ready to end this. He unleashes a flying Taichi kick!
Fucking hell.
Straight for Mitsuo's head. But Mitsuo dodges. Taichi landing on a heap on the ground. Mitsuo's on top of him. He's got him pinned. 1, 2, 3. What an upset! For the first time in Morning Glory history, the champion Taichi is defeated. Mitsuo wins!
Do.
Wait, shit. Taichi's not conscious.
Oh
God.
And Mitsuo's trying to shake him and he's not waking up.
no. God.
And then he starts coughing and convulsing on the ground.
Is he having a fit?
Mitsuo goes running for Uncle Kaz, who rushes back, picking him up and bringing him to the house, where Ayako calls the doctor, who for some reason arrives with Rikia. Unsure why. Seems Taichi had an asthma attack. He's doing okay now. But nobody knew he had it. It's sudden onset.
He's just you.
Me, he's like a little asthmatic wrestling fan. With a head like a potato.
Anyway, the doctor tells him that there could be a number of reasons for the sudden onset, but he's an orphan, yeah? Well, stress is a potential cause for asthma, and it could be trauma. That's the issue. Because everything's trauma.
Also, physical activity is a more realistic explanation
It's
for
Yakuza, it's trauma. The doctor then goes absolutely wild, basically saying that if Taichi ever wrestles again, he's going to die. Which
It's like The Wrestler, the movie. It's fucking Mickey Rourke.
Never wrestled
But this
again.
kid just lives for wrestling.
His
Which,
career's just started.
I mean, I guess yes? Question mark?
That is heartbreaking.
Maybe try medication first. Anyway,
Does he give him some salbutamol or something?
well, no. The doctor heads off to go do some tests at the hospital. He's like, I'll update you.
Oh, okay.
tests on what?
I don't know. But you know, they're all sat there
That
watching.
guy was late for dinner. I'm going to the hospital. Do you need Tai Chi? No.
Like, Haruka and Ricky are sat there like, you know, hope the tests come out well. If Taichi wouldn't be able to wrestle, it would break his heart. Mm-hmm. They go in to check on Taichi, who clearly heard that exchange because he's absolutely miserable in his bed. He doesn't want to see them. He just wants to wrestle. He wants to get big and make lots of money for Morning Glory. It's all he's good at.
Oh, you're good at lots of things. You bring a smile to everyone's face, Taichi.
Did you miss the orphan stories?
Yeah.
Kiryu tells him that don't give up. They're going to find a way to make sure that he can keep wrestling in his life without dying. Everyone faces obstacles in life. This is just the first one he needs to face. Besides,
Apart from his parents dying. Kiryu, stop putting your foot in it.
They cheer him up, inspiring him, and ultimately deciding that if he can't wrestle, he can at least watch wrestling and study the moves. In fact, Kiryu and Rikia will put on a wrestling show just for him.
Aww, that's cute.
They go outside to plan, and Rikia is so beyond hype for this, saying that him and Mikio are going to go build a full-ass ring, and they're going to get masks and everything. It's going to be just like TV. In a matter of no time, a full wrestling ring is built on the beach, and it's time for the title match. Dragon Mask versus Ricky Mask.
Ricky Mask.
Oh, very good.
For anyone listening along, we've got Dragon Mask wearing some nice red trunks, black knee pads, and a black a luchador's mask. And we've got Ricky Mask in some full-length blue tights with yellow stars, yellow knee pads, blue gloves, and a blue and yellow lucha mask.
And of course, the true identities of these two wrestlers are unknown, and presumably we will never learn.
It's true.
Anyone who remembers was it Mr. America character? It was just clearly Hulk Hogan. You could even have the mustache. Amazing. Terrible guy. Or El Generico.
So Mikio serves as the ref while the kids cheer on from the sideline, none louder than Taichi. It's a proper wrestling match with all the slaps and the chops and the grabs, and can you only tell that I've watched wrestling like once in my life? But Dragon Mask throws Ricky Mask to the ground. When Taichi from the sideline sees that Ricky Mask's reaching for the back of his shorts, he's pulled out a fork! Oh, no! Dragon, watch out! Oh shit! Taichi's entered the ring! He's in for the tag team 2v1! He tackles Ricky Mask to the ground! He's laying down the law with one of his flying Taichi kicks!
Are they not afraid he might die again?
Taichi pins Ricky Mask! Mikio's running over to give the count! 1, 2, 3! And it's over! Taichi has won the belt on the beach! Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
What? They set up this whole thing because he's not allowed to wrestle anymore.
The match over, the kids take full advantage of playing in their new ring while a doctor comes running over. Turns out, Taichi doesn't have asthma.
Oh.
He has a buckwheat allergy.
Oh.
Duh.
Oh, okay.
It was from all those nummy soba noodles that he was munching on for lunch.
He goes to sit down on his bed now, more upset about not eating soba noodles.
Nah, they make a comment. They're like, the doctor's like, oh, but you gotta be careful because buckwheat's in everything these days. And they're like, I think he'll be okay giving up buckwheat if he can keep wrestling.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If Taichi became a proper wrestler, I would buy that lunchbox for sure.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that face on a t-shirt?
Is Taichi your favorite kid, like I said he would be?
Oh, 100%. You called that right away.
That was really good. Is any of that side stuff? Because, God, it's so good.
I don't
What a
remember,
shame.
actually.
Right, what are we doing down here again?
We're protecting the orphanage.
It's essential regardless of whether it's...
it is essential, I agree.
or not. Later in the day, Kiryu sees Haruka looking mighty sus. She says that she's off to grab dinner groceries since, Taichi almost died, so he can't even though it was his day. Even though, he's good enough to launch a flying Taichi kick.
Yeah.
But Kiryu says that he'll go with. But no, Uncle Kaza, you must be tired from traveling. Yeah! Stay at home. I can go alone. She runs off without letting Uncle Kaz get another word in. Wait. Is Haruka going on a date? Well... Nosy ass Kiryu's obviously got to see this, and it's definitely not spying. No, it's not spying. It's just a caring father watching out for his daughter in case anything bad happens. No spying involved.
Yeah, I mean, she lied to him, so just check that she's all right.
Kiryu heads into town where he finds Haruka looking at a poster on a lamppost. He asks what she's up to, but she just runs off again, saying how she needs to get to the market. He looks at the poster that she was looking at. It's a help wanted poster. Something's mighty fishy here, Kiryu thinks to himself, but he's not sure what. He follows Haruka again, finding her with some real sketchball guys who are telling her that they'll pay her 20,000 yen to stand around with some envelopes and give them to anybody who walks by asking for one.
Huh.
She just needs to not ask what's in them. Kiryu walks up, and the men run off, and when he asks what Haruka's up to, he says that they were just asking for directions, and look at the time, shopping can't wait forever, ha! And she runs away. Kiryu continues following, eventually finding her stood on a bridge as numerous sketchy-ass men come up, one by one asking for envelopes from her. Kiryu, still slow on the uptake, comments on each one individually about how he doesn't look boyfriend age. He's way too rough to be a boyfriend. He's like twice her age. He can't possibly be her boyfriend.
Oh, God.
It's a bit slow. He goes up to confront her, but she says that she was just talking with each of them individually about how nice the weather it was.
All right.
Real sunny day we're having here, isn't it? She runs off again, but hey, it's almost dinner time. She'll probably head home soon. So Kiryu heads home. He gets home to find all the kids around the table with sukiyaki boiling away in pots, center table. Kiryu comments to Haruka how they're eating like kings tonight. What's the occasion? I guess I'm just getting better at saving money. Suddenly, Mikio's voice comes from the door asking if anybody's home. Kiryu heads out, where Mikio tells him that he also saw Haruka and the two sketchballs, saying how they're bad news. Mm-hmm. He returns to dinner, and the kids loved it. The best meal they've ever had. Haruka looks beyond proud. As they go to clean up, Haruka tells Uncle Kaz that she has something that she needs to do in town. Kiryu tries to stop her, telling her that it's too dangerous in town for a girl at night, but she doesn't listen, running off, so Kiryu's off to catch her again. He traces her back to the place where he saw her with the weird guys the other day, and sure enough, they're back, this time giving her new instructions. If she sees a cop, she's to casually stroll away. Huh? Why? I'm not doing anything illegal, am I? The men wave her away. No, not at all. These are just there's laws about how much a kid your age is able to make. Yeah. Truth is, we're paying you even though we're not supposed to. But hey, you need the dough, we need the help. Win-win. She reluctantly agrees as the men walk away, going elsewhere and pulling out a phone, saying how they've got the stuff. Girls near the vending machine. Bring the cash and it's all yours. Before long, men start showing up, taking the envelopes and handing Haruka cash for them. Even a few cops, but Haruka lays low, being able to, wave them off. From a corner, the men are watching, saying how much easier this is than dark web shit. Kiryu continues to watch on as man after man comes up, taking envelopes from Haruka, until finally, the two men running the operation return, giving her 10 grand. But before they can say anything else, Haruka's face goes wide in fear as Kiryu apparates looming above the shoulder of the man.
That's a lot of money. What's it for?
The men freak out, spilling the envelopes to reveal that they're filled with counterfeit credit cards. Kiryu beats the shit out of them for taking advantage of a helpless child, and they run away. Before Kiryu can confront Haruka, though, Mikio and Rikia come running up, having sussed out what was going on. Kiryu asks what Haruka was thinking. In a low voice, she says that she heard Uncle Rikia and Uncle Mikio talking about how money was tight. How the cost of rent and the cost to feed them kept going up. And Jesus, everyone needs a fucking truckload. They might not be able to make rent this month. Which I have a comment of, wait, don't they literally own the building? What?
Also, isn't he the richest man?
Yeah,
By this point in every game, he has walking around money of tens of millions.
He spent $1 million just to get here by cab.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. He can't pay the rent now. Spend it all on the cab. We get a little flashback to Haruka coming out of the bath, overhearing Mikio and Riki on the porch, having a conversation, likely while Kiryu was still in Tokyo. Rikia says how he hadn't told Kiryu all this because he doesn't want him to worry. Mikio wants to help chip in, but they're barely supporting themselves. We shift back to the present as Mikio and Rikia burst out laughing at this. Turns out, Haruka it's a complete misunderstanding.
Oh.
They, the entire time, were talking about the Ryudo family office, not the orphanage. Which I have a comment of, wait, are they needing to feed people? Does this family have more than just 3 people?
Yeah.
Turns out that All they need to do to fix their money problem is to put Mickey on a nice long diet.
Right.
Ha ha, he eats too much food, fat guy, ha 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 ha. Haruka laughs, saying how, well, if they ever want a nice hearty meal, Morning Glory's doors are open. The day saved, Rikia and Mikio head off, promising to stop by the next day with the boss. Haruka apologizes to Kiryu as he tells her that he's just glad she's okay, making her promise to not get mixed up in this kind of stuff again. They head back to Morning Glory, and Haruka hops in the bath, while Kiryu goes to check on the kids, make sure they've, taken their baths and done their homework and all that. While checking on them, he overhears Ayako and Izumi in the bedroom. Izumi telling Ayako about the cutest dog toy that she found, and she wants to give it to Mame. Her old dog used to have one just like it. Can she borrow some money? Ayako looks troubled, thinking to herself how much it costs. She only has about 500 yen left of her allowance.
No.
She asks Izumi, and Izumi tells her that the toy is about 500 yen. But Izumi looks so excited about it. And Ayako loves her little sister so much that she ultimately breaks, giving in and giving Izumi the money. Izumi excitedly running off to tell the others.
I get a bit of a sense that Ayako is probably Haruka's second in command. If she was going to lean on one of the kids, she would probably go to Ayako.
A bit, yeah. She's very much kind of goes the older sibling of the non-Haruka ones.
I would just like to point out during this slight break that it's bullshit. Mitsuo is still the champion, okay? He was never beaten. Okay,
sorry.
Because Taichi may have won that little triple threat 2-on-1, whatever it was, to get the belt at the bash at the beach or whatever we called it. But he never pinned Mitsuo, okay? Mitsuo is still the true champion. Continue.
Yeah, but who's going to sell lunchboxes, Neil? All right.
I'd say that the accountant's probably going to be the one selling lunchboxes.
Yeah, very good.
Ayako frustratedly sighs, watching her go, but doesn't have much time to think before Shiro comes in, upset about how mean his teacher is, which I have no fucking treat your teacher's a cunt.
Yeah. Jesus, all right.
Seems this time, old Teacherino is calling him a cheater because he got a perfect score on his test. Called Shiro a liar and assigned him a bunch of extra grammar homework as punishment.
So Shiro stabbed him in his sleep.
And he hates grammar homework. Ayako promises that she'll help him out in a bit. Shiro leaves, and Kiryu finally walks in, asking if Ayako's taken her bath. She says that she will once Haruka's out. By the way, Ayako, Kiryu is concerned, because she's always putting everyone else before herself. But, of course she is. They all need her.
No.
Before anything else more can be said, though, she hears Haruka get out of the bath and runs off. Kiryu leaves the room to see Haruka. They share thoughts on their concern for Ayako, largely thinking the same thing. It almost seems like Ayako sees taking care of the others like a job. She won't even accept help when Haruka offers it. Haruka has another concern, though. She thinks the other kids ask Ayako for things they're too scared to ask her for, because Ayako's just too nice to say no. The next morning, Ayako and Haruka are discussing what to make for dinner when Izumi comes by. Ayako asks her if she got the toy, but it turns out, it was sold out. Wait, then what happened to the 500 yen that she lent her? Well, Izumi and her friend used it to buy some candy, of course. It was so good. Ayako stands just with a deadpan expression as Izumi walks off, quickly being replaced by Shiro, who starts shouting at her, telling her how when he turned in the homework they did, his teacher got mad because it wasn't 400 words like he said it should be. Gave Shiro detention and everything. Ayako looks downtrodden, saying how she didn't know that it was meant to be a certain length. But it said it right there in the top corner of the page! Ugh, if you're gonna help, at least try and do it right.
Oh.
Haruka tells Shiro off for being a wee prick, but he runs off, followed by Ayako, who sprints out the house past Kiryu. Enough is enough. Kiryu sits down the other kids for a family meeting without Ayako, trying to drill into their heads just how much she does for them and how freaking ungrateful they are. He goes one by one, guilting the kids, because Ayako seemingly does literally everything around here. In no particular order. Ayako did all of Shiro's homework for him. Apologized to the parents of a kid whose bones Mitsuo broke. Which comes out of fucking nowhere and is never elaborated on.
That title reign is really going to his head.
It's literally like, you broke a kid's bones, and I went to go apologize to the parents so it didn't boil over to a bigger issue. She was the one who called the doctor after Aichi's buckwheat allergy. She always thanklessly patches up Koji when he's playing baseball. She lent Izumi that money. She didn't hold a grudge on Eri after she stole her money. She got Ryona clothes specifically to cover the burn she's embarrassed about. He gets up.
Wait. No. What's she done for Mammy recently? The dog? Like, what's she done for his
I'll
life?
tell you what she did. She lent 500 yen to go and let a dog toy get bought.
Ah, touche.
Mame
2 in 1, baby.
Mame always gives her licks his thanks, though. Mame says thank you. He gets up, leaving the kids to stew in their guilt, while he runs off to find Ayako. He finds her in town by the coin locker crying, but she runs away, saying how she doesn't want to go back, which, honestly, fucking fair. Kiryu chases her through the streets, clearly showing his age as he is literally... he gets up to where he'll catch up, and each time that, we get to say where he catches up and then he needs to start ringing, he's more panting and he's more... By the time we get to the end, he's, literally, lumbering down the street, heaving.
I am 40 years old.
You are an 8-year-old child. But he does eventually manage to catch up. He manages to catch her on the bridge, trying to tell her how much he and Haruka are grateful for everything she does. And so are the others, even if their ungrateful asses don't show it or say thank you enough. She's still crying, but agrees to come home with Uncle Kaz. They get back to find all the kids lined up out and waiting outside holding things. Shiro goes first, walking up to Ayako and thanking her for always helping him, handing her a small collection of papers labeled shopping coupon. Izumi goes next, this time handing her a laundry coupon. The kids all excitedly run up to Ayako, each handing her a different type of chore coupon, as Haruka tells her that they're all going to make sure that they try and pitch in and help her as much as they can. The last one to come up is Taichi, who gives her a homework coupon, but Koji and Mitsuo tease that why would anybody want that? He can't even do his own homework. That's just giving her more work.
Hey, back off, my boy. You got a fucking perfect score in his last test, okay?
No, that was Shiro.
No, that was Shiro.
Yeah, that was the...
Well, no, so did Taichi. It was the fine kick test. Yeah. 10 out of 10, perfect score. The kids run inside as the Ryudo family arrive back at the house. Nakahara's passed all his tests, so it's not going to be much longer before he's right as rain. Ricky tells him that he should be resting, getting back I'll rest when I'm dead. Finally, Tamiya calls, telling Kiryu that Toma's meeting only just ended. Which I have a note here being Jesus fuck, it's been about 30 hours since the last time I called. I know that sometimes meeting in Japan's can be insane. That is wild.
Yeah.
But he's now headed out for some celebratory drinks. Kiryu wants to know if he has a guy watching out for Toma, why not have him warn him? But it seems that Tamiya's informant is a prominent Okinawan politician, so revealing his connection to Tamiya would just cause more issues down the line. So, not to mention the fact that Toma doesn't trust him. Anyway, Toma's favorite bar is a pole dancing bar in Hatsumachi. So Kiryu's off, leaving the kids in the care of the Ryudo. He heads into town, finally finding himself at the pole dancing club. It's actually a shockingly massive club.
Yeah.
With about 30. I'm gonna show you a video of this later because it's about 30 different poles in here. It's insane.
Very fancy.
Massive stages. The place is packed. The music's blaring, the lights pulsing as Kiryu walks in, finding Toma sat in a booth up on the balcony, surrounded by girls, declaring himself the savior of Okinawa, baby!
That was never the vibe I got from Toma. I thought it was just very
quiet,
quiet
mysterious.
And, printed clothes. Yeah.
To be fair, we only ever saw him in one scene prior to this.
Yeah. It was he just lurked in the background hello.
He's just come out of a 30-hour meeting. He's slightly unhinged. Yeah.
Unfortunately for Toma, Kiryu looks to the right and just, casually sees Joji Kazuma walking up the staircase towards him.
Oh no.
Kiryu sprints to the staircase as Joji reaches Toma's table, just standing in front of him, pulling a gun from his breast pocket as Toma and the women scream in fear. Luckily for Toma, before he can shoot, Kiryu manages to just barely catch up, telling Joji that Tomiya told him everything and sent him here to stop him from making this mistake. Toma freaks out hearing about the CIA, thinking that Tamiya was the one who sent Joji here to silence him. He tries to run, but bang! Joji shoots. Straight into the couch, an inch in front of Toma's nose. Not another step. Kiryu asks if Joji's really going to kill Toma. Kiryu Kazuma, yes? You of all people should know. When your chairman tells you to do something, you damn well do it. Kiryu's confused. The CIA is my chairman. They say I need to kill someone. No matter the target, I'm going to kill them. But he aims back at Toma. I'll see you in hell. The scene goes in slow motion as he squeezes the trigger. Kiryu sprinting forward, tackling Joji to to the ground as a shot goes off, narrowly missing Toma, breaking the glass behind him. The gun skids on the ground away from Joji. Kiryu shouts at him to run as Joji gets back to his feet, asking Kiryu what he's doing. I saved him. Now I'm gonna save you. Just as Tamiya asked me. Joji says how Tamiya was always so naive. Kiryu tells him that he won't be taking any more lives. I'm merely following orders. If you want to stop me, you know what comes next. Yeah, there's only one way to solve this. With our fists! I see why my brother took a shine to you. You're brighter than you look. The men circle around each other slowly. But my brother's blood flows in my veins. Can you truly fight me? Well, let's see. But blood isn't what mattered. Me and Kazuma-san, our bond was far stronger than that. Show me then just how strong it was. Joji gets down into a battle stance. Now, Kazuma Kiryu, we fight!
This has just reached a new level of lack of credibility for me, this series. It's an all-time low in believability. The idea that the CIA would be on foreign soil committing executions.
They're always
It's
the good guys.
just a bit silly now.
I really thought Joji would be our final boss. This is interesting that we're fighting him now. I guess Mine is the real final boss.
They brawl on the balcony, fist first fist, until with one swift kick, Joji launches Kiryu backwards off the balcony, sending him flying into the air as he jumps up, soaring above Kiryu, and with a swift kick, slamming Kiryu down back to earth onto the center stage.
Oh my god.
It's great. He kicks him down again onto the floor below the stage, jumping after him, where they continue their fisticuffs until at last Joji is beaten and bloody on the floor beneath Kiryu's feet. That fight's a lot longer than I made it seem. Kiryu's pants. Not Kiryu's pants.
What do they do? Sorry, what do his pants do?
Kiryu pants. Clearly,
I'm
which
40!
I feel like this is really notable. Is that like basically every fight ends with Kiryu like gasping for breath in this game.
Huh.
He's been retired for a bit.
I know he's getting old.
He wasn't probably fighting much for 2 years.
Yeah.
And Joji is probably 60. Let's not forget that either.
Yeah.
Well, you know that Ricky had definitely kept coming back up to him and be like, Anarchy!
Yeah.
Anarchy, I challenge you again!
Yeah.
Let's go, round 2! And then he had to, wrestle Taichi.
Oh, for sure.
That's the
For the belt.
That's the secret boss.
That's the champ.
You gotta earn that one.
Yeah, that's like Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts level.
Joji looks up from the ground. I've grown too old for this. Fighting's a young man's game. Kiryu continues panting. If you were any younger, I'm not so sure I would have won. Joji struggles to lift himself from the ground, telling Kiryu that he lost. So like Tamiya asked, he'll stay away from the kid. The kid? Kiryu asks, following Joji's gaze around to see Toma stood at the entrance of the club. His voice is pained, asking Kiryu if Tamiya really asked him to come save him. He's confused. Why would Tamiya put him through so much just to save him? He doesn't believe Kiryu when he says that Tamiya trusts him. He left him, betrayed him for Mine. Kiryu walks up to him, telling him that Tamiya would never lose faith in him over something like that. He admires how devoted Toma is to Okinawa, and he thinks that one day he's going to flourish into an amazing politician. Tears well up in Toma's eyes hearing this, falling to his hands and knees, saying again and again how sorry he is.
Calling bullshit on Kazuma, being like, hey, you beat me. I'll 5 minutes ago he was like, it's my family, and if they tell me to kill my chairman tells me to kill someone, I kill them no matter what. And he lost a fight, and he's like, well, gonna go back and tell them I couldn't get that done.
Yeah.
We've got more to come, haven't we, Chase?
I mean, it does get brought up.
Okay.
Chapter 11! Crisis!
Alright, here we go. Finale run, I guess.
Kiryu carries Joji up to the booths, laying him on a bench and getting himself a refreshing glass of agua. Joji awakens. Joji awakens, looking over at Kiryu as he sits up, asking how long he was out. Only an hour or so.
Jesus. Brain damage. If you are out for more than 10 seconds, go to the hospital.
Just a casual hour. Kiryu hands him a refreshing glass of H2O. as he tells him that Toma has returned to Tokyo to apologize to Tamiya in person. Joji seemingly just accepting this.
Yeah.
Kiryu asks, is it really okay, though? It seemed, you were pretty set on your CIA orders. Is losing a fight all it took? No. Joji sees what he means, but ultimately, he works to his own methods. All the CIA cares about is the end result.
Which in this case was not killing Toma.
Well, I think basically, previously, it was he thought Toma was going to spill the secrets, which would have been an issue to the plan.
Got you.
He now thinks Toma will stay hush.
Got you.
So Toma no longer needs to be silenced. Because remember, as long as this plan goes through, the CIA is happy. They just want Black Friday dealt with, or not Black Friday, Black Monday.
Black Friday.
Black Friday.
They're sick of it.
Their catchphrase is everything must go.
The deals are never actually deals. They just hike the prices beforehand and then reprice you.
I love that musical. Were Nakahara and Daigo just part of that result then? Nah, Kiryu doesn't buy it, asking Joji if he was really the one who shot them. Joji agrees to explain, telling him that all those shootings were an unfortunate side effect of their efforts to pass the military expansion bill. There should have been no need to shoot them, but the one responsible was a colleague of his. In Nakahara's case, he tells them that they were just trying to obtain the deeds, but in Daigo's, it was an unfortunate misunderstanding.
Wesker he's talking about, right? Colleague. Yeah.
That's why I don't like scrolling.
Maybe
It gives you
Wesker's
a chance to theorize. Gross. I need to not give pauses. Daigo panicked when he saw Joji put his hand in his pocket, thinking that he was about to shoot him. But before he knew it, Daigo had his own gun trained on him. So without a second thought, Joji's colleague shot him. It was a similar situation with Nakahara. Kiryu asked if this colleague was one of the men who came after him in Kamurocho, and it was. Because it was Albert Wesker. Joji tells Kiryu that as a rule, they try to avoid taking lives wherever possible, even if the mission is at risk, but under those circumstances, they simply had no other choice. Still, he can't help but feel guilty, which Kiryu immediately shuts down with a, don't feel guilty, you didn't shoot him. So, problem solved.
Yeah. So he's a simple man.
He's immediately, you are absolved of all consequence in my eyes. Joji at least wants to offer an apology, in person if he could. Kiryu offers to take him to Nakahara now, but he isn't at liberty to discuss the situation with the civilian.
Fucking terrible idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to apologize, I guess. Yeah, I'll take you to him.
Yeah, the scars won't heal, but
Yeah.
Joji has taken many lives in his line of work, but atoning for them is impossible. Going against a direct CIA mandate. The impossibility is the most difficult part of the job. Kiryu tells him that in that case, he'll pass his apology along, with Joji thanking him for that. Oh, by the way, Joji's known the whole time where Daigo is.
good.
Very good.
He just kind of drops it. Luckily for Daigo, though, he seems to be literally the only person who does now that, Kashiwagi is dead, and since Kashiwagi refused to kill Kiryu. Joji, though, needs to ensure that nobody but them knew where Daigo was. After all, what would Mine do if he learned that Daigo was alive? Daigo's just an obstacle in Mine's path to the chairmanship. Joji can't say for certain that Mine knows where Daigo was being treated, but he does know that if Mine is working with Black Monday, he'll have access to their information network. Daigo is in grave danger. But where is Daigo? Well, in Tokyo, obviously, at the Toto Hospital, which is in Kamurocho.
Oh,
So he was literally not even fucking hidden.
brilliant.
CIA HQ only got the info a few hours ago, and he only personally learned it right before coming in here. If Mine has found out as well, Daigo is gonna die. Go.
Jeez, that
Kiryu
cute.
bolts
You're only
up.
allowed to use that once.
That's the fourth this game.
It's the only time it was actually written. So that was the only acceptable time. Kiryu bolts up, grabbing his jacket to grab the first flight to Tokyo when... Uncle Kaz! Uncle Kaz! Kiryu runs to the railing to see Taichi in an absolute panic, asking why he's there. What happened? It's Morning Glory! They...
Oh, no.
The scene shifts to a short while ago. The kids are playing with Rikia and Mikio in the yard, while Nakahara sits on the porch with Saki and Haruka. It's joyful. Laughter fills the air.
The end.
But then a shadow grows over the yard as Rikia and Mikio turn, seeing Tamashiro and his men approaching the orphanage,
No,
armed to the teeth. And in the center of the men is Mine.
Oh god, all the players are here.
Well,
They're all in Okinawa. I mean, like everybody that we need for a finale.
Oh yeah. I mean,
The Ryudo shout at the men to leave. Tamashiro has nothing to do with the orphanage, but Tamashiro gives a wicked grin as he raises his gun, shooting Rikia and Mikio both in the thighs, sending them to the ground. Mine walks forward towards the kid. Haruka throwing herself in front of them, arms outstretched as she stares Mine down. You like it here, huh? Funny. Seeing you kids leech on adults' generosity, it makes me sick to my stomach. You're stray pups, sure, but that alone doesn't mean you deserve protection. I'd rather see you all put down. Well, I suppose all of this is that hypocrite Kiryu-san's fault. In a way, you're all his victims. Haruka slaps Mine. He glares down at her and then backhands her across the face, throwing her away. The kid's sprinting over to Haruka. Mine smiles at that. Turning to the Tamashiro men. Smash it. They walk forward, passing the kids. From the side of the yard, Mame starts barking. One of the men turning to the sound and smiling wickedly as he walks towards him.
Don't kill a dog.
Izumi runs to get in front. But out of the way! The man grabs the side of Izumi's face, throwing her to the side. He raises his sledgehammer, but Izumi latches onto his leg, begging him not to smash Mame's doghouse. Shut it, you fucking brat! Mikio and Rikia struggle to crawl towards her, screaming her name. The man raises his sledgehammer again. The man raises his sledgehammer again to the screams and swings it down as... thump. Mikio throws his body on top of the doghouse.
Oh my god.
Taking the brunt of the sledgehammer straight to his spine.
Oh, Jesus.
His face turns to the man in disgust. I'm not letting you do this. The man looks back at Tamashiro. What are you waiting for, coward? Just crush them both. The man smiles again as he raises the sledgehammer again, this time slamming it back down straight onto the base of Mikio's neck.
Oh, God.
Blood splattering from his skull.
Oh, Mikio.
As he slumps down off the doghouse.
Oh, Christ.
Izumi rushing over to him.
Horrible.
I'm sorry, I wasn't strong enough, he whispers, falling unconscious. Izumi keeps screaming for Uncle Mikio as the man raises the sledgehammer again, slamming it down and smashing Mame's doghouse.
Ugh.
Nakahara screams for Mikio, trying to get up to help, but he's stopped by Tamashiro. Not so fast. We have unfinished business. Could have sworn you croaked, old man. Guess you're tougher than you look. Nakahara falls to his knees, lowering his head to Tamashiro, saying how if it's him that he came for, then just do it. But leave the kids, leave the orphanage out of it. Oh, but that's not good enough. Tamashiro walks forward, stomping Nakahara's face into the ground, grinding his shoe into his head. I still haven't forgotten what you did to me last year, you old fuck. He kicks him in the head, signaling two men to grab him. We're gonna have a nice, long chat, you and me, later. That is, after we raze this place to the ground. Come on, bring it in! The sound of an engine roars as a bulldozer crashes through the stone wall of the yard.
Christ.
The kids cling to each other in fear as it storms forward. Nakahara and Rikia's screams melting into Tamashiro's vile laughter as it plows into morning glory. Back in town. Yes?
As it plows into morning glory, the bulldozer.
The bulldozer.
Do we see that, or do we cut away before it touches the wall?
We cut away before it touches the wall.
Okay. I'm holding out hope.
We can always rebuild.
Back in town, a rage brighter than any we've ever seen lights in Kiryu's eyes. He tells Joji that he's going back to morning glory. Joji asks about Daigo. But my kids are in fucking danger. Fuck Daigo. Fine, well, at least Joji can get us a quicker way to Tokyo via the CIA once he's done there. But also, Mine's definitely working for Black Monday, so expect him and Richardson to be waiting for him at the hospital when he gets there. Kiryu takes Taichi's hand, leading him back to Morning Glory, where they find that it's in tatters on the ground, completely destroyed.
Christ alive.
The kids are sat huddled on a tarp in the front yard, warmed only by a barrel fire. While Rikia, Saki, Haruka, and Izumi are watching over the still unconscious Mikio.
Okay.
The kids run to Kiryu, crying as they see him arrive, saying how scared they were. He asks them to give him a minute as he goes to Mikio, calling his name. Mikio's eyes slowly open as he looks at Kiryu with a soft expression.
Okay, good.
Saying how it was all his fault. He couldn't stop them. Kiryu tells him that the blame doesn't lie on him. To not talk like that. Sir, comes Mikio's soft voice. Please, save the boss from me. I will, Kiryu promises. I'll bring back Nakahara, I promise. Mikio smiles softly, his eyes beginning to flutter closed. Glad to hear it. His head falls softly as he lets out a breath, his eyes closing. Rikia shakes him, calling his name. Haruka clutching her mouth as Izumi screams for Uncle Mikio. Damn it! Kiryu punches himself as their screams echo into the night.
Oh.
Did he ever become an actual member of the family, like a Yakuza?
Yes, I missed one sub-story earlier, that basically you go to the Ryuta family office and Mikio's dad is there, and it's a whole thing of Mikio's dad being like, I don't approve of this, and Mikio proving himself to his dad, and then his dad ultimately being like, you know, I'll support you if this is the path you're chosen, you know, as long as you are, a real honorable man about it.
Oh, man.
Luckily, though, that's all short-lived as we shift to about an hour in the future where, Ricky is getting off the phone with the hospital with the news that Mikio's going to pull through.
What?
Wait, are you serious?
Mikio's fine.
He has been crossed out twice in the notebook.
Yeah, that's the most bullshit thing.
That is fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I hate that.
Kerry is screaming to the heavens, and the next scene, he's like, "What's that, doctor? Yeah, he's fine."
Sledgehammer to the base.
Legitimately, yes. I wish I was joking. He gets death faked out twice in like an hour.
Shit. That seems like they put in as a dare. Like someone dared them to do that twice.
What a way to, like, it doesn't spoil the whole scene, but it does a little bit taint it. Yeah. Like, what a fantastic sequence of events that were, like, really hard-hitting. And then that really weakens it.
I think they should have kept him dead, and they probably they just felt a bit anxious about it. I'm not sure why.
Weird, but okay, fine. Mikio alive.
Because Izumi needed her uncle Mikio.
Yeah.
Kiryu gets up, telling Rikia that it's time for him to go. He needs to bring the boss back. They have him in the bull ring right outside downtown Oh yeah, that's the name of the city. The city's called Ryukyu.
Ryukyu.
I just, for some reason, never wrote that down earlier. That's what downtown Okinawa is called.
That's all right, mate.
Ryukyu.
Want to hold it against you this time?
No. We're only 7 hours in.
Yeah. Rikia shouts that he's the captain of the Ryuto family. His patriarch's been taken, his pride broken, and Kiryu would have him do nothing? He needs this. Needs to prove he's a real man. Kiryu gets that, but this isn't the time. Dying pointlessly won't prove anything.
That's not how you prove you're a real man.
Just wait, Rikia. Your time will come. And when it does, you can go out guns blazing.
That's not how you prove that you're a real man. No. There's only one way to do that.
Oh, which is?
Dance.
Kiryu tells him to trust him and leaves Morning Glory. He takes a taxi, arriving at the bull ring.
Oh, no. 4
bulls lie in wait at its center.
Oh, no.
Tamashiro is sat in the stands, lying in wait. This is basically after Kiryu trashed the Tamashiro office, and they were driven out of town by the cops. They've been hiding here ever since. I'm not sure if maybe they ran it before. I feel like bullfighting is probably something a Yakuza family would run.
Yeah, if you want someone to seem a bit extra dickish, you can have them be,
So yeah, maybe they ran it. They've just been keeping it quiet, but also
I hope he gets gored by a bull. That would be a cool death.
Kiryu demands to know where Nakahara is, but let him savor this reunion first. Tamashiro's got goosebumps hearing that when he heard from Mina that he'd been meeting Kiryu again. But Mine's long gone to Tokyo by now. It's just them now. If he wipes out Kiryu, the Hakuho will make him a billionaire. And take out the Ryudo, well, then Okinawa's all his. Well, what say they have them some fun? The cage opens as two of Tamashiro's men drag Nakahara center ring, throwing him to the bulls. Kiryu rushes forward, but not... Bulls are very sensitive to the sound of gunfire. Tamashiro pulls out his pistol, looking at it. One little pop, and Nakahara's getting torn to bits. They've got all the time in the world, so why don't they have some fun? His men arrive, surrounding Kiryu, when... Sorry, Aniki! They all turn as Rikia limps into the arena, accompanied by Saki. Sorry about this, Aniki, don't get mad. It seems that Saki had tried sneaking away from the kids to come here on her own, but Rikia caught her and decided that he would come with her.
That makes sense. Of course, she would come to save him, yeah.
He shouts to Tamashiro that the cops are on their way. In 10 minutes, they'll be surrounded.
Don't tell him how many minutes. Fucking idiot.
You've got 8 minutes to deal with whatever you're dealing with.
See, it feels like the kind of setup that would then lead to a timer for the battle, but there's no timer on the battle.
Yeah.
Because I think later, he says it again, he's like, there's 7 minutes now.
If I'm him, I'm probably going to go, I was planning on having this done in less than 10 minutes. Ideal. No worries.
No, he said he wanted to take his time and savor it. Tamashiro laughs, a glint of madness in his eyes. Well, if you want to say your boss shredded so badly, I'd be happy to oblige. He raises his gun to the sky, firing 3 times, sending the bulls into a frenzy.
Yeah.
They sprint in circles, surrounding Nakahara until one stops, turning to face him, grinding its foot along the ground. It looks hard at him and charges. It charges faster and faster until, Dad! Dad! Look out!
Oh, she's speaking.
Everyone's shocked faces turn to Saki.
The bull turns around. What?
As Nakahara, filled with the strength of a true father, raises to his feet, grabbing the bull by the horn, stopping it mid-charge. Man. As he flips it into the air.
Yes! That's how you know you're a real man.
Tamashiro! I ain't felt this great in years. It's like I'm a kid again, ruling this town.
And he's got, we've seen his back tattoos. We've seen the flowers on the arm, but we've seen the back now, and it's one of the, I can't remember the name of it. It's like a lion dog thing.
Like a lion dog, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's very cool. It's a beautiful color.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
It's a very dad tattoo, isn't it? Like that's like a dad Yakuza tattoo.
I have no clue what you're on.
I don't know. Comments back me up. Look at this tattoo and tell me you don't get dad from it.
I really am trying to be generous. I can't.
He stands tall, shouting at Kiryu that he'll be fine. Handle Tamashiro and his lackeys. You brawl with Tamashiro lackeys while in the center, Nakahara is just battling the bulls.
Amazing.
We see at one point Nakahara knocked over as a bull begins to charge. Kiryu jumping into the ring, getting between them, and as Nakahara before him, grabbing it by the horns and flipping it over. Although he just does Nakahara just does he just throws it. Kiryu does a full, he flips with it, wrestling style.
Amazing. Amazing.
Does it a mid-air twist.
They are just, we knew before with the dodging bullets, but this is just superhuman.
I love how this game, though, specifically just leans into the wrestling of it all.
Yeah.
Well, he fought tigers. 2 tigers at once, Yeah. A bull isn't that out of...
I keep thinking about that earlier on, and I don't think I pointed it out at the time, but a room was filled with Gatling gun fire, tens of thousands of rounds. His close friend, one of the best fighters in this world, got hit 50 times, and he didn't get hit once.
Yeah. And they were aiming for him.
Tamashiro tries to even the odds, sauntering into the arena, but unfortunately for him, he ain't a bull, and Kiryu's been lifting some heavy cow today. I don't know what that joke was meant to mean, but we're running with it.
I like it.
We like it a lot. All the lads dealt with, Rikia and Saki rush into the bullpen. They're all winded, and Nakahara is laughing crazy as that both of them are over the hill, huh? Saki runs to him, falling to her knees, wrapping him in a tight hug. But from the other side of the arena, we see Tomashiro's fingers twitch. His vision shifts from side to side as he reaches slowly for the pistol on the ground in the front of him. Nakahara pats Saki on the back, saying how proud he is of her and apologizing so much for making her worry.
No, don't.
With a grunt, Tomashiro gets up from the ground. Everyone's eyes go wide as he raises his gun and bang! Rikia appears in front of Kiryu and the others.
No!
His arms outstretched, a bright crimson wound directly to his heart.
Oh, he is not coming back from that. He has been shot in the heart.
He sputters, blood jutting from his mouth as he collapses to a heap on the ground. Kiryu's face goes wide in horror, rushing to him, catching him in his lap. Tomashiro laughs maniacally from the other side of the arena. Turning your back on an enemy! Amateur move! And now, I'm finally gonna end you.
Gunfire makes the bulls go wild.
His eyes are crazed as he raises his gun again. Finger trained at Kiryu. He squeezes his finger and bang! Red blood as a bullet flies clean through the side of Tomashiro's skull.
Oh.
He drops to the floor in a lifeless slump as Kiryu looks over to see Joji just arrived to the bullpen, gun in hand. It looks like I was too late. Rikia groans, Kiryu's attention flying back to him. I think he got me. Kiryu raises his hand off Rikia's chest. It's stained with bright red blood. Aniki, how's it look? Kiryu presses both of his hands into the wound, desperately trying to stop the bleeding. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's just a scratch. Hey, stay with me, please. Everyone's faces well with emotion as Rikia reaches up to grab Kiryu's arm. Aniki, does this count as me throwing my life away for no reason? I saved you, didn't I? Then maybe that's all I need. Rikia, please, Kiryu pleads. Aniki, we had some good times, but I guess this is it. Looks like I'm a real man. Now, he coughs, blood sputtering from his mouth. Tears fall onto his hand, Rikia looking at them, surprised. Aniki, you're a great man. The best I've ever known. Just promise me, Mine, you, struggling to get out more words, each one getting more labored. Don't let him win. Kiryu takes his hand, holding it tight. I won't, just don't go! Kiryu's face is awash with tears streaming down his cheeks. Please, Rikia! I'm sorry. Aniki. His hand falls from Kiryu, his head falling backwards. Rikia! Come on, Rikia! Kiryu shakes his friend, his brother. You can't just die on me, Rikia! His shouts become wails. I won't let you! You hear me, Rikia? Just get up! Joji comes over, placing his hand on Kiryu's shoulder, letting him know that he's not alone, as Kiryu wails the name of his brother into the night.
Saddest death of the series, sincerely.
Yeah.
Loved
yeah, no.
Rikia, gutted he's dead, but good death.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Boy's gone.
But they bring Mikio back.
Yeah, it's weird.
Weird.
I'm not sure if it's because they just didn't want, like,
two of them. They, maybe killed both of them originally, but then... And, you think about the tattoo, and it was that tattoo was almost all of it, like his life, was Okinawa.
Yeah.
And it was that little bit of involvement from Kamurocho that got him killed, really.
The cancer of Kamurocho.
Yeah.
Leaking out into the rest of Japan.
Anyway. Finale. The end of Ambition.
All right. I'm slightly confused about what the stakes are going into this finale. We want to beat the shit out of Mine / kill him. That's kind of it.
Well, Mine's trying to get back to... He's probably found out where Dojima is, where Daigo is. So if he can get back and supplant Daigo, he's now the head of Tojo.
Also, keep in mind, the resort plan is still going forward.
That was going to be my question about that. Okay, if we kill Mine, does that stop that?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because Mine is the last pro-Suzuki person.
Cool.
Because unlike Tamiya, Suzuki is very much trying to get this through for the purpose of becoming prime minister. So he's still very much pushing for this.
I'm hoping, going into this finale, that it doesn't end in the way that every other Yakuza game has ended so far. Not because I don't like it, but just because it is so overdone by this point, and this has been quite a nice, consistent conspiracy now with a nice, simple resolution in killing Mine, which is 5 guys standing on a rooftop. One of them goes, "It was me all along." 20D chess. I don't need that twist for this game to be good. You know, a good old fashioned. It was Mine, and we're just going to stop him now. Well, let's find out. Exciting.
We had a very quick chat there. We took a quick break there to refill our drinks, etc. And I was saying to Chase that I really enjoy, regardless of my wild theories, I really enjoy that Mine is kind of a sort of dark reflection of Kiryu in that he kind of went through a similar system, and whereas Kiryu came away from that system with sort of a desire to help others and work together and, you know, find value in found family, Mine came out of it resentful and bitter and cynical and hateful.
Yeah.
I just enjoy the parallel.
Well, I think it's interesting, though, that if you look at 1 and 2, we also have final villains who are dark reflections of Kiryu. You got Nishiki, who is the...
In different ways.
In different ways, yeah. I don't think it's like it's copying itself. It's just interesting that's been a consistent through line. There's going to be a point when that stops, presumably. You can't do that for another 8 games or whatever.
Yeah, because the end of the last game was kind of a reflection of Kiryu's pride and honor, you know, but in a...
Well, I was just thinking it's just the 2 dragons. I was thinking about it on a purely baseline, yeah. And then Nishiki, it's just the other son of Kazuma. But yeah, so, we'll give final thoughts about the game when we finish, so I'm not going to give that away right now, but I will give you a quick theory I have.
Yeah, I want to hear all theories going into the finale.
I don't have any theories about the conspiracy bullshit, because honestly, just like every other Yakuza game, I just don't massively care.
There's no point.
Yeah, I'm much more interested in the character drama. So I think that now that Morning Glory has been destroyed, Kiryu is going to need somewhere to put those kids. And I, touch wood, I might be wrong, but I really hope I'm not. They're not going to drop the Kiryu orphanage angle moving forwards. That seems such a pivotal part of his characterization now. So, my theory is that by the end of this game, he's going to end up taking over Sunflower and sticking his kids in Sunflower and running it himself, and that keeps him connected to the Yakuza shenanigans because it's a Yakuza-associated orphanage because of the Dojima ties, the Kazuma ties. That's my running theory right now.
Interesting. Any theories from you?
Oh, I'm keeping my theory in my pocket.
Oh, is it still the one that's written?
I wrote it down. It's looking increasingly unlikely, but I'm going to keep it in there because it will be awesome if it pays off.
Anyway, meanwhile, above Tokyo, Mine's flight is preparing for arrival. His private jet, of course, would never fly with the peasants. He sits calmly, his eyes closed, while behind him, a few of his men laugh, wishing that they could see the look on Kiryu's face right now. They're ready to party. With Kiryu out of the picture, Mine's 7th chairmanship is all but assured. Mine's face hardens while he listens to his men. They continue laughing, making fun of Daigo, saying that he got what's coming to him, letting his guard down like he did. Mine turns, watching his men as they continue saying how a kid like Daigo had no business leading the clan in the first place. Mine stands up, walking to his men, asking, "What was that?" They stumble, moving back, saying out they should throw a party. Oh, why? Did something good happen? Oh yeah, it's Mine darts forward, grabbing a knife from the table in front of the man and stabbing it down into the back of his hand. You think the 6th chairman's death is something to celebrate? Is it? He twists the knife in before ripping it out of the writhing man.
Right.
Oh, God.
He tosses it to the ground, returning to his seat as the man slumps in his chair, mouth foaming lightly as he goes unconscious from the shock.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Okinawa, Kiryu is about to get in a plane of his own. A military jet!
So that's how he's going to beat him there.
Oh, you thought there was 2 really cool executions and it was my assistant bumbling his fucking way through it? This is how we did it.
You fucking said this earlier, and I did the biggest internal scream when you said military jet.
My thought process at the time was like, you said, commercial plane, 2.5 hours it would take to fly there. And I went, okay, how would you do it faster? Faster than a normal plane.
Yeah. We already had this in Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you had the fastest little container thing.
Little
in the
rocket
world.
ship.
Yeah.
Sure.
That only broke the stratosphere.
Anyway, he's on an American military base with Haruka and Joji as a fighter jet pulls up to them. Kiryu commenting how it makes sense how, Joji got from Okinawa to Tokyo so fast. This baby will get him to Tokyo in just under an hour. The pilot turns in his thing, giving a real big thumbs up to Joji as Joji thumbs up back at him. A real American military bullshit. Kiryu goes to shake Joji's hand, thanking him for everything, but Joji refuses, saying that this isn't over yet. Only once Mine and Richardson are dealt with will he shake his hand.
Who's Richardson?
Andre Richardson, the head of Black Monday.
Oh God, okay. Sorry.
Remember, that's still all. Black Monday is still very much in play.
I just assumed that would be overarching to the other games.
Yeah, I kind of assume this is our big organization now for the rest of Yakuza.
Black Monday is still very much about.
Cool.
Yeah. Because remember, Joji earlier was like, once you've done the thing, we'll go to Tokyo together, because I need to be down there to arrest Richardson.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, Kiryu and for some reason Haruka get ready to get in the fighter jet.
No, what?
Joji's saying how he won't be far behind. So clearly, originally these two were gonna go get in this fighter jet together, and Haruka has stolen his seat. It's a little 2-seat fighter jet, and it's now Kiryu and Haruka.
I guess now, on the bright side, there are no more beds to change. So, she's got time freed up in her day.
So Nakahara is babysitting the rest of the kids then, basically. He's looking after them while this happens.
Yeah, basically.
The dying... Well, he's not dying. He's the wounded man on Meg.
To be fair, remember he had a resurgence of health.
Oh, he did.
He's flipped a bill. He's doing great. He's filled with the power of fatherhood.
It's only been a 5-minute
That's
break.
going to be you soon.
Yes, it will.
You soon will too flip a bowl.
Was it a year about mums lifting cars off of babies and stuff? That'll be, That's
That'll be with you, but the power will be like the ability to get up at 3 a.m. and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, once they get to Tokyo, they need to head straight to the hospital, and Joji will send a rescue helicopter, which I have a Date-copter, perhaps?
Oh, no.
It's always a Date-copter.
I mean, Date has been very absent from this half of the game, really.
He often is absent for long periods, isn't he? If you ask his daughter.
Wow.
Have you seen my daughter? Have you seen her?
Well. Meanwhile, Mine is in Daigo's hospital room.
Oh, he really beat us here. Okay. Shit.
One of his men comes in with a phone. It's a call from Richardson. In one of the most also iconic lines. I hate that two of this game's most iconic things are Japanese people speaking in English.
Oh.
But yeah. He picks up and in full English tells him that there's no change in the plan. And hands the phone back. I'll show you it later. He just learned that Kiryu's alive and coming. The man asks how they should respond. We shouldn't. Once they arrive, it'll all be over. He gets up, walking out of the hospital room. Finally, Kiryu and Haruka arrive in Kamurocho.
Sorry, I must have just blanked that out there. Why is he not killing him straight away? Sorry, did you just explain that?
No.
Right. Okay.
It's just not.
It's
just not. It's just waiting for something. Okay, cool.
Finally, Kiryu and Haruka arrive in Kamurocho. Haruka at long last asking why the fuck she was brought. Never asked that when getting on the American military fighter jet.
More crucially, Kiryu never asked himself that.
Yeah. Well, Kiryu just smiles. And she goes, fuck, you're gonna die, aren't you? Which I have a note saying, bruh, stop showing clear favoritism in your children. Why does only one get to be here to watch you die? She hugs onto him, but he grabs her by the shoulders and removes her, apologizing, saying that he just wanted to see Kamurocho with her one last time. She clings back to him, saying that it's okay. She's happy that she's here. Thank you, Uncle Kaz.
Oh.
That's cute.
That's nice.
Why does he think this time's going to be the time that gets him? He never used to have... I guess when you have kids, you suddenly worry about your death. He never used to worry about his death like this.
I mean, previously he only had a Haruka.
Yeah.
Now he's got 9 Harukas.
Yeah. 9 times death anxiety.
Yeah. So, Kiryu begins taking the sights of Kamurocho with Haruka one last time. Which I love how... Joji was like, when you get to Tokyo, straight to the hospital. You need to run. And he's like, but what if I went on one last date with my daughter? One last daddy-daughter date. But of course, Kiryu is with Haruka. And you know what that means.
Side quest.
You know what that means. Well, they walk over to the Millennium Tower and hear that Akimoto's back, baby! And he's about to throw himself off the roof of the Millennium Tower!
Are you serious?
Twice in one game.
Twice in one game! They head up
This guy needs help. Medical help.
Fuck that, push him. I've had it with Akimoto.
They head up to the roof, finding his shoes and a suicide note.
Oh, God.
Well, seems they're too late. They're quickly joined by Mizuki-chan, who reads the note. TLDR, even though she never loved him, he loved her, and he has a lot of good memories with her, and she was good to him. He was happy just to be by her side, and he's sorry. Goodbye, Mizuki-chan. She starts bawling, apologizing to the air for everything, then goes to the edge, saying that she'll join him soon.
This is just a ploy, isn't it?
Kiryu and Haruka sit there watching, going, no, stop, wait, don't do it, no. She blames herself for all the horrible things she did to him, actually seemingly coming to a moment of like, I've fucked up here, like for the first time in the entire series, despite everything that he gave her. But, for serials, Kiryu and Haruka do try and talk her down, saying that he loved her and she needs to live on even if it won't be easy for him. Suddenly, though, there's a voice. I can't leave these shoes behind after I jump. They're so worn out, and they stink, too. I wouldn't want to embarrass Mizuki-chan. Good thing I realized before I went through with it.
Fucking smelly little bastard.
He ain't even fucking dead! He's still here! He runs up to Mizuki, asking why she's crying, calling Kiryu a thug and blaming him. But anyway, yeah, so he had gone home to get a different pair of shoes, and he got the pair that she told him to buy in Okinawa, thinking a new pair would look nicer next to
Why
his
did he
suicide
put his
note.
shoes on to go home? Did he walk home in his socks? He would have solved two problems. He wouldn't have had to get rid of the dirty ones, take them home, change into the clean ones.
Who knows? Akimoto-kun, you idiot! She screams as she pushes him
Off the edge.
backwards off the edge of the Millennium Tower.
What? Oh, God.
Yeah, she pushes him off the edge of the Millennium Tower.
Okay.
Bye. He's gone. But with a rage and a scream, Mizuki-chan grasps him by the hand, channeling her inner goblin fucking... I don't know, she has a real scrunkly face here. She looks terrifying.
Really scary.
And she flips him up over his head in a massive arc, slamming him back down onto the ground.
Is this like one of the devs and his wife have been like mocapped into the game and they pop up every game? Is that what this is?
No clue.
Like, it just this surely this isn't anybody's favorite side quest. No one's screaming out to see Mizuki-chan again.
It's my favorite because it's torment. It's my favorite purely for the torment it brings you.
Yeah.
Comments, if you know, please explain what is the thought process behind this? Because it's not even there's a different scenario every time. It's
Always on the edge of something high.
Yeah.
Right, okay, come on, let's...
Okay, right.
Right, what happens?
Akimoto slams onto the ground. That was close. If I'd died there, I wouldn't have been able to kill myself. She slaps him for that and then grabs him to hug. At long fucking last, after 3 games, she breaks down, apologizing to him for everything that she's ever done, every second of gold digging. He was never like her other customers. He actually cared about her. Because remember, the whole time, she was a fucking, like, hostess.
Yeah. Are they related?
No!
Okay,
it was another lie.
Yeah, okay.
She begs himself to never say that he should die again. As he does, he asks, do I deserve to live? Of course you do. If you didn't, He takes her hand. Mizuki-chan, can we start over and relive those early days we spent together? They embrace, promising to be with each other forever. As Kiryu and Haruka fucking dip.
Yeah, I'm really glad they had nothing to do there. They did not get involved at all. They just sort of stood and watched this all unfold.
And to my awareness, this is the last time we see Akimoto and Mizuki-chan.
Yes! Woo!
They finally live.
The most toxic couple of all time.
That's a horrible
Watch
plot.
me be wrong and have actually just forgotten that there was more in the future.
It's 50-50.
In classic Kiryu fashion, he goes and he drops Haruka off at Serena with Date,
Absolutely.
promising her that he'll come home safe. And he promised, so now he's got to do it.
He's been at the bar again all day. Child.
And you look
I've seen you. I know you. Come on, have a drink.
Yeah, can you call my daughter for me?
Have a drink.
Tell her I love her.
Do you drink whiskey, Erica?
Kiryu, children like whiskey, right?
Yeah.
Kiryu heads to a taxi, getting a call from Joji that he's ordered the CIA to back us up. Nice. Which actually we did. After we dealt with the whole Akimoto bullshit. We walk out and a CIA agent walks up to us and he's like, "By the way, if you need to get back to Okinawa, the military jet is waiting for you.
Great.
Just go to get a taxi to the airbase."
Oh, like for gameplay, if you want to like tie
for
up loose
gameplay.
ends. Yeah.
But like, I'm also just in my head like, what?
Does Kiryu now a CIA operative?
Apparently. Apparently, secret spy Kiryu.
So Haruka's been left at a bar with a reporter.
There we go. Finale time.
Yeah, here we go.
But, so, he's ordered the CIA to back us up. Nice. Well, all except one team that they haven't been able to get a hold of. Sure, that won't be important.
Okay, that's Weskers' team because Wesker is actually Andre Richardson, the leader of Black Monday.
Anyway,
Fucking love your brain.
the CIA's main goal is getting Richardson. Not sure why they can't contact that team, but if we find them, they'll probably still see us as an obstacle. Kiryu gets in the taxi, heading off, and arriving at Toto Hospital, where he's basically instantly swarmed with about roughly 10 bajillion Hakuho men.
Yeah.
Kiryu puts his medical license to good use, malpracticing all of them as he tears his way through the army.
One thing about my medical license, I never took the Hippocratic Oath.
I love how your brain works. That's very good.
He tears his way through their army, finally beating Daigo's location out of their captain. He's on the 25th floor of the other building, room 2501, and Mine is with him. For fuck's sake, that's a lot of stairs. Hope Kiryu's been using the Stairmaster.
Fucking out of puff all the time.
I know. Get that man an inhaler. Finally, after about 20 minutes of in-game brawling through the hospital later, we arrive at Daigo's room to find it empty. Yay, obviously. Well, except for a very menacing-looking Albert Wesker by the window.
There he is.
Finally, Albert Wesker speaks.
What is your name, sir?
In the only American accent in the entire game, which is a fucking jump scare. Looks like you're a little late. You just missed him.
He sounds a lot like Chase.
I shit you not, he sounds exactly like that. He like pulls off his sunglasses. He's got pretty eyes. He's got beautiful eyes.
It's not Albert Wesker. Where's the virus in his eyes?
If I'd known it would come to this, I would have killed you when we first met.
Sorry, everybody. Neil has just got uncomfortable so that he can see the screen properly. Normally it's side on. Neil has changed it. Swivel the chair all the way around. Comfy for the finale. Sorry, Chase. Go ahead.
Oh, and I am obsessed with this conversation. It's my favorite one because Kazuma Kiryu very much does not speak English.
So are they just talking at each other in their respective languages?
Yes. There's like a whole thing earlier in the game. I think it's with the whole beautiful eyes thing where it's very clear that Kiryu doesn't understand what Joji is saying.
No.
When because it's very clear that because what's his name? Kazuma said Joji said that whole thing in English, remember? So Kiryu didn't know that he was Shintaro's brother until way later.
Oh my god.
He didn't realize that until Tamiya told him later.
Yeah. It's just because this is obviously big in Japan. What must it be like for a Japanese audience where you've been playing and you can understand what they're saying the entire game and suddenly this guy comes out speaking English and you're like, surely you're sitting there questioning going, why does Kiryu can't understand this because I can't understand this.
I mean, it's subtitled at least for the...
Well, subtitled the same way the Japanese is for us, but it's just a weird choice. Just chuck in a side quest where Kiryu learns a bit of English.
Yeah.
You know?
Does his Duolingo.
No, it's so funny though, the two of them just talking together. Especially because granted, I'm sure that Wesker at least speaks a little bit of rudimentary Japanese, being a CIA agent in the Far East investigation sector or whatever it is. But anyway, Kiryu's like, "Where's Daigo? Daigo wa doko desu?" And he goes, "If you're looking for Daigo, Mine's taking him up to the roof." And he points up. So Kiryu hears Daigo, sees the hand up. Good, roof.
Yeah.
Yes. Wesker cracks his knuckles. Kiryu goes, "And let me guess. If I want to get up there, I'll need to go through you." You're welcome to try. This is the end of the line for you, Kazuma Kiryu. Cue Wesker battle in the hospital room. Disappointing lack of sharp objects. I would have wanted a few more scalpels, but hey, fists will do.
Is he a hard fight? I mean, I know they're all annoying in this.
He's not too bad here. He's pretty fine. Kiryu knocks Wesker out and runs off. But as he leaves, Wesker's hand twitches. Oh no! Woo! Kiryu runs down the hall into a wide room where he's met by 4 agents in special ops gear. Which, of course, as we fucking dealt with every time that special ops people appear, means they're the most fucking obnoxious enemies in the game, especially when they have infinite fucking block.
Yeah.
I hate these guys. I died in this room so many times.
No, I could tell.
Yeah. Kiryu goes to leave after defeating them, but with a gunshot flies by. Hey, go to hell. It's Wesker with some double-wielded pistols that he gives a little spin in his hand before going, let's do it. And they go into round 2.
Pew, 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 pew,
Pew, pew, pew, pew, pew, pew, pew. Later, he fully drops the double pistols and pulls out a shotgun. Just starts shotgunning you.
Great.
It's a bitch. It's really hard. We smack him upside the head with his shotgun and run on, getting in an elevator. It begins to ascend, but holy fuck, 2 special ops boys kick in the ceiling tiles and jump down into the elevator as it moves. It's also the longest elevator for a building that only has like 25 floors.
You're fighting them for like 4 minutes.
It's got like 25, 30 floors and it's like a 3-minute fight. Yeah. Either the slowest elevator or the longest. Meanwhile, on the roof, Mine is stood on the edge. Daigo's splayed out in his hospital bed next to him. I'd also like to point out that this roof has no railings, which feels like a health and safety violation at a hospital. Get OSHA in here stat. Especially when you have, like, that's the helipad for where they bring in the people. Which one? I see no ramp. I only see stairs up to that helipad. How are you going to get a hospital bed down from that helipad? And 2, what happens if then you get down here and the bed starts rolling away and then knocks somebody off the side of the fucking hospital? Ugh.
Well, at least if that does happen, they're at a hospital.
This is health and safety policies with Chase.
Oh, get fucking OSHA in here, Jesus. Kiryu finally arrives, bursting through the doors. Mine's all, hey, boy, happy to see ya. What took you so long? Kiryu tells him to spare the small talk. What are you going to do with Daigo?
I'm not in the mood for a conspiracy chat.
Which, seems quite obvious given that he's taken his rolling hospital bed to the edge of a roof with no railings. Daigo responds that it's an interesting theory. Oh, I think he says, like, are you going to kill him for the chairmanship? And, not Daigo, fucking Mine responds that it's an interesting theory, but he doesn't care about the chairmanship. That isn't how it was meant to be. The truth is, Daigo, the 6th chairman, he means, he's been oh so worried about him. Until Daigo, no one believed in him. Which, bitch, we saw your flashback, we saw your dad, we know that's a lie. He asks if Kiryu knows about how it was Kanda that brought him into the Yakuza world. Well, it's actually a bit more complicated than that. See, Mine bribed Kanda to bring him in. He just needed a fool fresh from prison, and voila, Mr. Massage Hands McSex Pest appeared.
Oh, God.
Kiryu asks why'd he stoop that low to join the Yakuza. Well, you see, just like you, I too was an orphan. Nani? Alone in this world, the only childhood memories I have are ones of struggle for survival. I was like one of those children scavenging for survival in post-war Tokyo. It's hard to believe such poverty still exists nowadays. I was loved by no one, needed by no one, no compassion shown but my own loneliness. I needed to make something of myself, become successful, make money. That's all that mattered. I worked myself to the bone, made countless sacrifices, and you know why? For money. From the minute I made that my goal, it was my sole purpose. Until at least I could buy whatever I wanted. Have whatever women I wanted. My employees gladly follow any order I give them. But all that was a lie. Humans are selfish liars. They'll all abandon you eventually. Does friendship truly exist? Is loyalty an unreachable ordeal? It was then that I learned of a system where the bonds of men ruled supreme. The Yakuza. So I arrived to see if those bonds were true. That's when I met Daigo, a true leader. The first person I admired with every fiber of my being. But then why is he doing this? Well, the truth is that if Daigo were still alive, he would have never gotten involved. Daigo is as good as dead. I was robbed of the only man I loved, and I needed a new reason to live. So that was to gain the power to do what I wanted. I joined forces with Black Monday. Which Daigo-san is very much not dead. He is very much alive.
Yeah.
He's probably had a heartbeat monitor. I feel like he was alive if you hadn't taken down his hospital room where, all the things proving he was alive were still going. But Daigo is no more than a tangle of tubes. He pulls his pistol from his jacket, turning it to Daigo. That's not a life worth living. That isn't the Daigo I once knew. That man has long been dead. I can't bear to see him like this anymore. His finger squeezes around the trigger, but Kiryu stops him, telling him that he has it all wrong. As long as a person is clinging to life, there's value in their existence. Don't you get it? Daigo is fighting tooth and nail just to hold on, and you're just going to senselessly kill him anyway. Mine laughs, saying that he knew Kiryu would say that. That's probably why Daigo liked him, but Mine? People like Kiryu stop at nothing to help others make his fucking blood boil. He spins, turning his gun to Kiryu, firing it just past his head. So why keep doing it? You were an orphan, just like I was. How can you keep playing these games? He angrily shoots shot after shot, all of them narrowly speeding past Kiryu's head. Well, obviously he doesn't flinch. Mine has only two things left to do. End Daigo's sad half-life and murder Kiryu, the man he respected. And then when the Tojo is his life will finally have meaning.
The man Mine respected or the man Daigo respected?
Daigo.
Yeah. Gotcha, okay.
Kiryu looks at him. You don't understand a damn thing. I think I see why everyone deserted you. It's plain as day. What about the people who left? Do you still resent them? Of course I do! Money's all those heartless bastards live for. All they crave. I'd slit their throats if they were here now. Do you have a problem with that? You're just like them. Money was all any of them, including you, cared about. None of you taking a moment to let in the people around you. Mina shouts at Kiryu to shut up, but Kiryu continues that even still, Daigo viewed him as an equal. Mina shouts louder, shut up, he keeps firing. Kiryu sighs, reaching up to his shoulder and ripping off his jacket.
Love it. Yeah.
I can stand here talking all night, but nothing I say will ever get through. So I'll just have to teach you the only way I know. Mine throws his gun away, laughing, crazed. Even now, Kiryu refuses to change his ways. Fine. Like he said, Kiryu's welcome to try. He rips off his jacket. But I won't go down easy. Not even to a legend like you. Kiryu-san, this is your last battle. Make the most of it.
The tattoos are always really cool, but I think this one might be slightly underwhelming to me.
We've seen it before.
Have we seen it before?
When he was in his punching bag?
Oh, we have. That'll be why I thought it was underwhelming. Sorry. Then it's not an underwhelming tattoo. Sorry, take it back. Yeah, take it back. I was about to say, it looks a bit samey, but it's because I've seen it before.
Kiryu looks back at him. Don't worry. I will. Let's do it! The guitars blaze.
That's a full-on choreographed dance move they're doing there.
It is. It's a pretty good kick. This also looks like a really uncomfortable angle to twist your shoulders. What is up with Kiryu's shoulders out of his shoulder blade right there?
Oh yeah, he's dislocated.
That is dislocated.
That has popped right out.
Also, I feel like his pants are falling down and he needs a better belt. They slam, punch, kick. Mine grabs Kiryu's head trying to knee him, but oh shit, that's a dodge. He comes back in for the punch and Kiryu blocks the punch with his skull. He jumps up, sending a flying kick into the center of Mine's chest, sending him flying backwards. Kiryu rushes forward and, channeling his favorite non-asthmatic son, German suplexes Mine into the ground.
My son taught me this.
He gets down, and he's got him in the pin. He's got him in the pin.
That's not a pin. That's an armbar.
Good enough.
So sorry.
He's trying to submit him almost.
Oh, well, he's got him in an armbar. Yeah. Mine tries to escape, but Kiryu's not budging. Mine gets up, hobbling towards Kiryu, throwing one last punch, but it goes limp over his shoulder as Mine falls into Kiryu.
Oh, sick.
And then
Love
falls
it.
to the ground.
Oh, I like that.
Completely spent.
Then this is all, that's kind of in engine, it looks like. Like it's kind of part of the, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
Kiryu falls to his knees, which I would like to point out is the only time in the entire series that a boss has driven Kiryu to his knee. It never happens again.
Interesting. Well, time for our 11th hour baddie. Here we go.
Mine looks up at the sky from the ground. Looks like I lost. He gets a call from Katase, his assistant. She's asking if he's hurt, saying that she was worried. He gives a small laugh, smiling, as he says how she was the only one. I need your advice, sir. We've received an offer from the Dubai stock deal, 110 times the original market value. Our European creditors have requested a meeting with you after hearing the news, and the smile fades from his lips as he slowly takes the phone from his ear, arm falling limply to the floor as Katase continues to go on. Money, huh? No surprise there. In the end, he surrounded himself with money, and that was all that was there left for him. But I suppose people yearn to trust others and to be trusted in return. Maybe that's all anyone really needs. He raises his phone, Katase desperately still begging from the other end for an answer before the deal goes bust. And he hangs it up, looking at Kiryu. Why is it I feel so at peace? Is this how it feels when your world comes crashing down? Kiryu tells him that it's not too late. He can rebuild. Mine struggles to get up. Kiryu offering a hand and helping him to sit. Before they can have a moment, though, the sound of footsteps as Albert Wesker and his agents arrive on the roof.
Right. Yeah, 11th hour villain.
Oh, shit. Well, actually, so no. Whole reason Joji can't get in touch with the team is because, not CIA, it's Andre Richardson!
Who called that?
What?
I called that.
And actually, the entire team, so that's Andre, but the entire team is the leadership of Black Monday.
But he's the boss.
He's the boss.
And we've kicked his ass twice in the last 10 minutes.
Twice in the last 10 minutes, yes.
Not a great start.
No. I feel like he didn't bring his best weapons to this. No. You know, he brought 2 pistols and a shotgun. I feel like a globally known arms dealer would probably have, you know, at least 1 machine gun.
At least a rocket launcher.
Probably.
That'd be good.
Slacking a bit.
Yeah.
But.
Or a Metal Gear.
No, that's what he was trying to get. That's why he wanted.
Yeah,
that's why he wanted.
Pretended there was going to be a Metal Gear.
Yeah. I'm afraid your role in all this has come to an end.
Is that really how he speaks?
Oh my god, it's literally. I'll show you later.
Very Wesker.
It's weirdly stiff.
Yeah.
It sounds like Wesker. It's weirdly stiff. I can't tell if that was just like the way that like the Japanese
like
director...
a sort of 1960s cartoon of
a little bit. It's weird. I'll show you it later. Richardson raises his gun, pointing... I was really tempted to keep calling him Wesker for the rest of the script.
Yeah.
Richardson raises his gun. Where the fuck was I? Pointing it at Mine. Seems they're no longer useful. Black Monday can find other pawns to pass the bill. For what... as far as we know, is still a made-up weapon. I don't think they've got...
No one told him yet.
I don't think they've got the memo that this is a fake weapon.
What a bunch of...
Which is really funny, because assumedly the whole reason that he knew where Daigo was because he got the CIA intelligence. So did the CIA also have the intelligence that this was a fake made-up weapon?
Yeah. Just like their body's called Andre as well.
Yeah.
Oh, there are plenty who could replace you. And unfortunately, you both know far too much for me to let either of you live.
Kirby's like, what?
Die! He squeezes his trigger as suddenly, thump, they'll spin around as a flurry of shots get fired off by Daigo Dojima with the hospital bed pistol!
Daigo!
It's the only time I will give you your Daigo chant.
The most useful character in the franchise.
He literally, his eyes bolt open in bed, and he rolls out of bed, whipping the pistol out, like, under his pillow, I guess?
Yes.
Did he have a pistol in his hospital bed? Question mark?
Yes, because he's a badass.
Yeah, and he just...
Bring a gun to a hospital. That's the message of this show.
He just, like, fires. He, like, hits all the leadership.
Damn.
And then he hits the gun out of Richardson's hand.
Fucking hell, he's good, isn't he? He's
Been training.
still hopped up on morphine, and he's...
Pure leadership material.
I'm not ready to die yet, you hear me? Daigo lets off one more shot straight into Richardson's chest. He staggers back, falling to the ground.
This guy really showed up and did nothing.
And with a grunted, damn it, he falls limp.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Is he dead?
11-hour twist villain.
Is he dead? Chase, is he dead?
What is this?
I thought this was going to be like our big overarching baddies for the whole franchise.
Keep popping back a couple of times. And...
Daigo grunts and also falls limp.
Yeah.
You know, as the pain of his injuries comes back, the morphine wears off. Yeah. Kiryu rushes to his side and helps him up. He asks what happened here, and seeing Mine looks confused, asking if Mine's hurt. That was a close one, huh? But it's all okay now. Mine falls to his knees, looking over at Daigo with a pained expression.
Oh, he knows what he's done. He knows it's wrong now.
But before they can have a moment, maniacal laughter sounds from the other side of the roof as Albert Wesker gets back to his feet, gun in hand, looking like a fucking zombie.
Oh my god, yeah, real Wesker look.
And as a zombie, limps towards them, blood oozing from his mouth thick. I won't let it end like this. I'll kill you all. With a roar, Mine rushes forwards towards him.
Yeah.
Richardson fires, hitting Mine in the chest.
Perfect,
Again, but it won't stop Mine's charge. He grabs Richardson, knocking the gun from his hand and pinning his arms behind his back. He drags Richardson backward, stopping at the edge of the roof. He looks at Daigo as he hurriedly tells Mine to stop. There are other ways. Sorry, but the truth of it is, I don't deserve to live. Kiryu-san, I may be a sorry excuse for Yakuza, but I still know how to uphold my code of honor. I wish we could have met sooner. I really do. Mine hauls the struggling Richardson up, positioning himself on the edge of the ledge of the building. He looks over at Kiryu and Daigo, smiling. Maybe in the next life, I'll have what it takes to earn your respect. And with that, he falls backwards, sending himself and Richardson hurtling down to the ground below for their final rest. Damn. Kiryu and Daigo look on his horror, but not for long, as they hear the whirring blades of not a Date-copter this time, but a Haru-copter! Hey. Oh, and also Joji's there. Cool.
Yeah.
Daigo looks at Kiryu.
He's just like Diet Kazuma, isn't he?
He's like, it's not even, I just don't have to have it in me to hate him. He's just there. Yeah.
Daigo looks at Kiryu. Tell me the truth. Was the traitor to the Tojo, was it Mine? Kiryu looks at him hard. No.
What?
Not a chance. He never would have betrayed you. A few days later, Kiryu is in Theater Square with Kazuki and Yuya, again saying their goodbyes. But Kiryu promising this time that he will come visit now and again. Kazuki sees Haruka waving from nearby, signaling Kiryu's cue to depart. He goes to Haruka when suddenly, hey, Kiryu. He turns around and it's fucking Hamazaki, not dead, and also not in China?
Oh.
But he looks beat up.
Yeah, he's like all beaten and bruised, and he's like got a gross ass bucket hat.
Okay.
Twist 11th hour villain? Question mark?
Nah.
He blames Kiryu for everything that happened, but he'd rather be dead than rot behind bars. Luckily, Kiryu pulls his sage wisdom. But if you're ready to die and have nothing to live for, why not use that will to start fresh? Sage wisdom from Sensei Kiryu. You expect me to leave that shit? Kiryu extends his hand, smiling. I do.
Oh, weird. Power of positivity.
Hamazaki laughs, walking forward, saying that, fine, maybe I could buy into it. Kiryu's smile grows wide. As for the second game in a row, he takes a fucking knife to the tummy!
Oh, god damn it.
No, what?
Hamazaki rips it out, blood gushing from the wound as people around them begin to scream.
What?
Kiryu puts a hand to his stomach. He just has a big old bra face on the entire time.
Oh no, my power of positivity.
And he looks up and he goes, "Bruh."
Is this not the end of the game? What is happening?
Yes, it is.
What?
Oh, Hamazaki starts shouting about how Kiryu's a patronizing asshole and how he's going to see how nothing matters anymore when he's 6 feet under. Once you're dead and gone, no one's going to care if you believed in them. Kiryu looks at him, a slight pant in his voice. No, you're wrong. Yuya and Katsuki rush forward, finally realizing what's happened and tackling Hamazaki to the ground, as Kiryu finally stumbles himself, falling to the ground in a puddle of blood. Haruka sprints to him, rushing to his side, begging for him not to leave them. You know, Mine taught me something. Even in your final moments, you can still believe in someone. And it fades to black.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
No, cool. Come on, keep going.
The scene fades
Yeah, I thought so.
and comes back to Mame! Aw, Mikio is back out of hospital and he's built her a new dog house.
Cute.
But Mame doesn't want to get in. She's nervous and Izumi's worried. Meanwhile, the boys are playing catch with a ball while the girls hopscotch. Real gendered activities. Saki is sat on the porch drawing with Ayako. Emmy running over to see what a pretty drawing she's made. Emmy calls for Haruka to come take a look, but she's busy looking longingly up to the sky, a sad expression on her face. That's swiftly broken as Kiryu walks right over to her, freshly bandaged and back in his favorite floral shirt.
I thought we'd have to wait till the next game or something.
Our boy lives to see another day. Let's fade into black, boys. It's the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's definitely no post credits.
That is it.
Cool. Okay, first off, the death fake out at the end. Very silly. It's very
so
stupid.
stupid.
Twice in one game.
I
I
don't
don't know why did they put it in.
See, you just made the throwaway comment there, Neil, and I completely agree. Well, we know that Kazuma Kiryu is in more games, so obviously we're not going to sit and think he's going to die at any point. But I think you could play with that if you were just going to be like fade to black, and then he's like absent for, I don't know, the first 15 minutes of Yakuza 4 or something. I don't know. But I thought that would be quite fun. Saying that, I understand that they don't plan these games ahead of themselves. They make them as they go, and it's totally fine. I don't begrudge the game at all. Worst villain so far in Mine, I didn't...
Do you think so?
I thought it was fine.
I fucking love Mine.
Like, fine. I don't hate him or anything, but like, I just thought he was fine by the end of it. And again, it ended the same way as it always does. Like, Kiryu's never going to kill the big bad, so of course the actual bad's going to kill the boss he just fought and shoot him. Then, he did the Nishiki thing where he tried to have a moment of redemption. It's just beats I've seen before.
Yeah,
I
do like that Kiryu, you know, almost always seems to convince someone that they can be more.
Yeah.
You know, I do appreciate that. That's his kind of superpower. You know, he kind of... it is one of my favorites. It is one of my favorite Yakuza games. And I know people are going to get really weirded out by that. I really like this one a lot. You told it beautifully. The kid stuff is the best bit of any of these games.
I think this is the only S-tier Yakuza so far.
Oh, shit.
I still really like 1, and I still really like 2, and you know my feelings about 0. I would actually, now that you've done this, story-wise, obviously, I understand if I was playing this game, I think I'd hate it. Like, I really think I would despise it. I can see the bits you skipped. I can see them, and I can feel the pain of what it must be like playing them. The story, though, this is the only S-tier Yakuza because it has the warmth, it has the heart, It's just really sweet. It has more likable characters by a country mile, I think. Now, to be fair, the majority of those characters are 9 children. It's not, but it's also, as we've seen in this franchise, it is quite easy to write children wrong, young Daigo.
Yeah.
So not a single kid in that orphanage did I think was like a pain in the ass or a waste of time.
Great.
Like one of the most impactful characters in a short space of time.
Yeah.
You know, it is mad.
Rikia, like, oh my god.
That's what he's only there for like 3 days, and it's he's known him for a couple of years in his term, but
I felt more when Rikia died than when Yumi died in Yakuza 1.
That's fair.
Or when Nishiki died in Yakuza 1. Like, you know,
less fair.
And again, not that I felt nothing. I like Nishiki a lot as a character. As you know, 1 is currently my second favorite, but this is my favorite so far. If the game can capture this, if the series can capture this tone moving forwards and not forget about it, then color me interested at last, Yakuza. Sincerely. If this is the tone moving forwards.
Let's fucking go. We've got him, boys. We've got him.
It's the warmth. It just needs to retain the goddamn warmth that felt really lacking in the other games, and finally is like front and center here. And I love this.
I finally feel like I understand what Kiryu's place and influence in this world is.
Yeah.
It's not just to fix all the problems, but it is, you know, he will always be hopeful and positive and try and encourage other people to find that in themselves, which I really appreciate in someone. I think we should all aspire to be a little bit more like.
Yeah, positive. More, I see Kiryu as a role model for the first time in the franchise in this game.
That's it.
I see him as a role model.
I think he's a lot more so in the side content of the Briar games. It comes full front to the main content in this one.
Yeah, but like a good example, I think would be like it's the one I know from Zero, right? It's the Dominatrix. I know this is early in his journey, but it's the Dominatrix, and he helps the Dominatrix out, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that one, and it's like there's quite a bit of like positivity to that quest. I remember it just because it stands out. It's one of the ones I played of him like helping a sex worker and like no judgment for me. Like it's fine, and I'm just gonna help you because I'm here to help people. And it's like I just don't care about like empty-headed person helps stranger on the street for no reason. There's motivation in his helping in this, consistent motivation, and heart.
I think it's really reflected by, you know, the efforts that other people are making, like the, you know, rehabilitation program for ex-Yakuza trying to get their lives together. And I think it's trying to do some interesting things. I think the kids rule, I think Tai Chi fucking slaps. That he kicks.
Oh, he chops.
Yeah, that kid is the rightful champ.
He is great.
Yeah, I appreciated it.
I love this. Only question I have now is, Neil, what did you write and what's in your pocket?
What is in your pocket?
Oh, you want to know?
I want to know what's in the pocket.
Would you like to know what's in the pocket?
what was your prediction?
On the back of a receipt.
Mine equals Kazuma's biological son.
I think that is a stellar prediction that is unfortunately not true.
I mean, it's not a bad one.
Yeah.
Well,
I was really burning a hole in my pocket because I fucking, as soon as I wrote it, the very next scene was a flashback of his dad going, "I love you, son."
Oh, that didn't come true. Monty's prediction of Kiryu getting Sunflower didn't come true.
Are we to understand that Morning Glory is just being rebuilt?
Yeah.
Cool, that's fine.
They've rebuilt Morning Glory. Presumably, Big Builderman Mikio did it.
As long as he... Okay, tell me this, Chase. Next game, do we just drop the orphanage?
No.
Morning Glory never goes away.
Chase said that right.
Morning Glory...
Oh, sorry, cool.
Yeah, Morning Glory is the core foundation of Kiryu's character going forward.
Love it.
As far as where we are in the series, Morning Glory is still around.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's...
Morning Glory does not go away. Kiryu's back to being a dad. Where is it going?
It'll just be this. It'll just be like,
now,
he's doing his thing, and then someone goes, "Oh no, well, you know what it'll be next game? Oh no, Kiryu, once again, all the heads of the family are dead or disgraced, and the Tojo's in crisis."
Well, captain-wise, okay, what we have remaining now is...
Majima.
Hamazaki and Majima. Yeah. Hamazaki, who just stabbed Kiryu,
But it's the same every game.
Yeah.
They all get wiped out. The Tojo's in disaster. I mean, at least the chairman is the same.
I think Hamazaki isn't making it past the first 5 minutes for the next game.
I think for stabbing Kiryu, he's in trouble.
Daigo will mess him up. And Daigo, so it's those three characters. So
I'm very curious. For the first time, I want to show you guys the cover for the next game.
Ooh, okay.
And just see if you have any thoughts.
Oh.
All right, so what we have here, folks, is it's a white background with 4 characters on it. That is all we're getting. The character in the middle is, of course, our beloved Kazuma Kiryu. Just behind Kiryu, I want to say, is that Daigo in the purple suit?
It's not.
It's not Daigo. Okay, in which case, I do not know who any of those 3 men are. 3 men are behind Kiryu, and I don't recognize any of them.
Interestingly, and I was having a talk with Neil about this
One looks like a
in the
smooth
car
sheriff,
on the way here, although Neil did not know that we were having a conversation about this in the car. What if I were to tell you that Kiryu is not the only protagonist of Yakuza 4?
What?
Do we have 4 protagonists?
We have 4 playable protagonists, baby!
Okay.
Welcome to where Yakuza goes shit fucking crazy!
You've been teasing us for a while that at least one of these Yakuza games might be 4 parts. Is this the 4 part?
This is the 4-parter.
My God.
And then I will tell you in advance, Yakuza 5 makes it even bigger, baby.
Oh
Dear God.
Well, with that in mind, I think it's a good place for us to tell the
got
listeners.
any more?
Yeah, do you have any more Yakuza?
I have one more Yakuza.
Tell us one more Yakuza then.
To slightly date this episode, yesterday was the RGG Summit, wherein they announced what's up next for the Yakuza series. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to show you one little thing, and I just want to...
We've got a screenshot of Monty's favorite visual that he's ever seen. It's Pirate Majima.
Pirate Majima, everybody.
Yeah. He's got a sort of lovely purple piping to his outfit. He's on a ship. There's a confused little boy.
A very happy looking little boy. First off, absolutely stellar outfit on Majima. Like, that is a pirate.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
That is top tier pirating.
Don't tell me anything other than this. Is this for a mainline game?
This is a mainline game.
I have a question. Is this like Majima gets blasted back to the past?
No. So this is the wildest thing is when so this game is called Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Which is a weird ass title, wild ass title.
Terrible.
Bad title, I'm not gonna lie.
Just call it Pirate Majima and be done.
Basically, I can't really tell you plot.
Yeah, of course.
But this is a direct sequel to Yakuza 8.
Jesus Christ.
I
don't need to know more.
I didn't realize that when it first came out. I thought that it was going to be similar to like the samurai games where there's a couple like spin-offs where Kiryu is a samurai.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with the main timeline. They are just a fun little spin-off. I thought this was going to be that. No, it's not. It's a direct sequel to 8. What is happening? But because it's direct sequel to 8, this is how we'll be ending the lore dumps. This is how we're ending the Yakuza lore dumps. Is with Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii.
I'm so here for that as a conclusion.
We're going out on the highest of peak notes.
He's got that to look forward to
Unless
in 2
Yakuza
years.
9. Yeah.
So
This is just a little tease to entice you for where we're going.
Teased.
I'm excited for
Little
that.
teased.
It looks beautiful.
It looks so good.
Yeah. So with that in mind then, this is where we're going to finish. We're going to take a break from Yakuza, just a very minor break for a few episodes, where we're going to be covering something else. Neil, do you want to throw a little tease our way?
I could throw you a little tease.
Writing your memoirs? Don't forget the hyphen between spider and man.
Get the chopper ready. I won't be long. I'm surprised you made it this far. But your foolishness ends now.
You do know I can still see you, right?
8 years of this insolence.
What did you think of that tease?
I'm scared of heights. I don't think I'm gonna like this one. I'm scared of
You've
heights.
ended every one of your fucking games on a skyscraper.
And we're going to say goodbye there. All right, see you later, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.